Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Nakwam, Watchmen for Israel coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, Slakia, and another Monday Night Fire. That's like another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Hamashiach, Malak Bashar. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Yahweh Shai. A hearty shalom to you, mighty men that go out there and labor and do the work of the Most High, presenting your body as a living sacrifice and enduring all things for the elect's sake and pushing this truth. Shalom to the men that may not be out there on the highways and byways as of yet, but they're getting the household in order, they're working on it, they're getting built up in the spirit, they're praying, fasting, studying, keeping the commandments, and being diligent in the last days. Shalom to all of the Akwaf out there holding it down in the households, married and unmarried, following the footsteps of our righteous foremothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Leah, Esther, Judith, Mary, Martha, and the list goes on and on and on. Shalom to everybody tuning in tonight. I am a daughter to a king, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, A. Rice, MJ Israel, Rocco Merriweather, Obadiah, verse 18, Barakatha Most Highest, Deuteronomy 7-6, Yah Son, 3D Sounds, Mayaka Will, Kamal Aline, Princess Israel, MJ Israel, Jalen Burks, I am Sean Wavy, Ya'ala Israel, Shalom, Shalom. All right, Shalom again. If you're looking on the title, it's like it, bear with me, right? Bear with me 1 second. If you're looking on the title, it is a marathon Q&A. It is a marathon Q&A. Another edition, marathon Q&A, WFI Hot Seat. We're taking questions, most are willing, first come, first serve. We're not going to back away from no question. If you have something you've been reading, you've been studying, you may have heard a doctrine or whatever the case may be, and you want more clarification on it, feel free to ask your questions, man. Right? You won't know unless you ask. All right. Now, if you don't have questions, then these questions can also be asked to you men out there in the highways and byways, so you can know how to break these things down, go through the proper precepts, and edify the flock. Right? Then not the Lord say in Wisdom of Solomon, the 6th chapter and verse 9, right? Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna kick it off with this precept. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and 9. Unto you, therefore, O kings, do I speak, that ye may learn wisdom and not fall away. For they that keep holiness holily shall be judged holy, and they that have learned such things shall find what to answer. So, men, you have to be able to answer these questions, man. There's a level of aptitude that you have to acquire when you're out there in the highways and byways, or you do the videos, or you're feeding the flock. The Lord speaks about the men being apt to teach. Even in 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, it says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. You know, so when you're out there in the elements, chiefly on the highways and byways, you never know what type of question somebody may come up there with, man. They can simply ask about John 3:16, or they can ask about Daniel the 11th chapter. And guess what? You have to be able to go through and break things down in an edifying manner and feed the flock. So most I will be able to do that tonight and go through these different questions, precept upon precept, and most I willing is edifying. All right. So the first question, MJ Israel, what did the 7 thunders utter in Revelation 10:4? Nobody knows, King. Right? It's not written on what they uttered. Now, John wrote them, but John didn't proclaim what things he revealed or what things were revealed. Right? Let's get that. For those that don't know what the 7 thunders uttered, let's go to the book. And that's not literal thunder, right? It's dealing with the spirits in the third heaven. Often when you read the book of Revelation, you read about, I heard voices, thunderings, lightnings, and I heard an earthquake. It's dealing with the spirits that uttered John to write down a particular amount of judgment and or prophecies. And those things is only what John knew. John only received those things, and that was his lot. Certain men only received certain prophecies. A 2nd Ezra chapter 11 and 12, the vision of the eagle, that was only given to it was only expounded to Ezra. Jeremiah didn't get that. You understand? Ezekiel, he was the one that the Most High gave to see the visions of God, right? In Ezekiel, the 1st chapter. Zechariah didn't get that. Every prophet received a particular lot. right? But I want to read this in Revelation, the 10th chapter, right? This is the book of Revelation. I'm going to start at 10 and 1, right? Revelation chapter 10 and 1. And I saw, Slakia, Revelation 10 and 1, and I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, meaning he came down in a spaceship. Doesn't mean he was wrapped up in a cloud, an actual literal cloud. It says clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. You see this bright cloud, this shiny chariot landing. You can see the landing chariot coming down. You can see the fire as he's about to land on the earth. And when the angel gets out, and he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth, the just balance. And what book did he have? The scriptures. All right, he had the Bible. All right, he didn't have the book of Enoch. He didn't have the book of Jubilees. He had this Bible right here. All right, reading on. And cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roared. And when he had cried, seven thunders, it's like you, seven thunders uttered their voices. Right? And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, and seven is completion, infinite amount of perfection. All right. When the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. So John heard it in the Hebrew tongue, and he's giving the account of everything going on. He got his pen, he kind of writing. What did they say? He about to write it down because he's recording everything he saw. Everything you see from Revelation, the first chapter, all the way to the 22nd chapter, is what the Lord showed John, and John wrote these things down. Now, there were certain things he couldn't write down. He had to kind of just deal with it. He had to accept that and understand that that was only for him at that particular time. All right? And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, it's like, bear with me. I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not. Meaning nobody's going to be able to get it. It's not written. There's no hidden book of the seven thunders. It's sealed up. Now, there are other things that are sealed, like when you read the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter, right? The Lord said, seal it up until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So certain things are sealed, meaning no man is able to break it up, only break it down and open it up. Only the Lord can. And the Lord is going to open up those seven thunders and reveal it to man in the wilderness along with the hidden manna. That's when you'll be able to completely understand what the voices were. Now, these voices could be anything. It can be a judgment on a man. It can be what the Heavenly Father is going to do at a particular time. It can be future prophecy. It can be anything, but only John knows, and that's his lot. Now, John, he's back on the earth, but John doesn't remember that, right? Let me get this precept real quick. All right, John doesn't remember what those seven thunders are. He's back on the earth. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 146 and 4. His breath goeth forth, he returneth to his earth, meaning when man dies. And that very day, his thoughts perish. So in that very day, you give up the ghost. John, he forgot all of that. So he was born back on the earth. He doesn't remember that. He can't say, oh yeah, I'm back. I remember what the seven thunders are. No, it's over. He'll get that thing back in the kingdom, right? So let me read that again. Revelation 10 and 4. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them not, right? So don't write it. Don't proclaim what these things are going to do, all right? So I want to move on to the next question, all right? And that's why you have something called the hidden manna, all right? Let's get that precept. You have something called the hidden manna, all right? This is the book. Slakia. Let's see where I want to start. We'll get straight to the point. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 17. Revelation 2 and 17, and it reads, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna. You see that? And will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. See that? So the Lord is going to give you the hidden manna. This is the manna that's made manifest in front of you. This bread right here, this knowledge, Yahweh Shai, the bread that the true bread that came down from heaven. But now there's hidden manna, right? You have manna in part, but then you have manna that you won't get into the wilderness in the kingdom of heaven. Like who you are back on the earth again, certain prophecies, the seven thunders, and many things that are kept secret from the foundation of the world. All right. So that's a good question. All right. Next question from I am a daughter to a king, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. If the Most High gave Adam one wife, then why brothers teach they can have multiple wives? Well, it's lawful. And the Lord then gave Isaac one wife, right? There's certain accounts the Lord gave Noah one wife. The Lord gave Jacob 4 wives. The Lord gave David many wives, right? The Lord gave Moses this wife. It depends on, you can't base what the Lord did for Adam on the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. That was what Adam had set up at that time. All right. Now I want to get that in the book of Deuteronomy. All right. That's what Adam had set up at that time. A Tobit had one wife. Was Tobit more righteous than Jacob? Because the Lord gave Jacob 4 wives, but he gave Tobit one wife. Is Tobit going to be above Jacob in the kingdom of heaven? And now he kind of telling Jacob, look, I'm above you. You shouldn't have had them other wives. I know the Lord gave them to you, but you should have kind of did this. I don't work like that. All right. So it's according to what the Most High gives men. Let's get this in the book of let's get the law, right? And I see multiple wives has been a topic. I was just on a clubhouse, man, and the brothers are going into it very beautifully, right? I saw a room with the sisters doing it. The people are talking about it all throughout damn Twitter. I'm not sure what spirit or why the spirit got it going like that, but the Lord has men and women conversing about this topic. It's a heavy topic in Israel, right? People are emotional. Some men are getting offended. You got men being effeminate. It's a lot going on in this thing. But these things are lawful, right? Deuteronomy. And before I read that, let me go to Psalms. I brought this out last night, right? But I'm going to bring this out in Psalms chapter 119, right? This is the book of Psalms chapter 119 and 165, right? Let's deal with it. Psalms chapter 119 and 165. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. So if you really love the Most High and you love the law, statutes, and commandments, you say you believe and you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah or Levi, Benjamin, Reuben, Asher, etc., then nothing should be able to offend you. When a brother brings up or breaks down what's lawful, if it offends your spirit, then you need to check your spirit. Because again, this brother didn't print the words. He's not the Most High. He's just reading what's written. Suppose brothers got offended when the Most High said, well, look, you got to grow your beard out, right? Well, that would make us off, man. No, that's only for that time. Or no, man, but I don't really have to grow it out because, back then. So all types of excuses. How would we look? But a lot of women, even men, it was only for that time. That's an ancient world. There's brothers that say one wife in Christ. That's not biblical. If you choose to have one wife, brother, go ahead. If you choose to have more than one wife, brother, it's lawful, right? So let's I want to get this to in Matthew 11:6. And we have to understand that we're not Americans, we're not Edomites, right? We're not so-called white people. All right. We have to come out of this Western mind frame. We gotta get this poison that we've been infected with out of Babylon through prayer and fasting and humility, and put our mind back in the East. We're from the other side of the whole earth, man, with a different language, with different customs, different mannerisms, different traditions. A lot of brothers who want to be an Americanized Israelite, right? The Lord not dealing with an American Israelite, right? A Christian American with a Hebrew Israelite twist on it. You got brothers that say don't even say Hebrew Israelite, right? So it's madness out here. All right, so bear with me. I want to get this in Matthew, the 11th chapter, and the 6th verse. So again, you can't base what the Most High gave Adam and deem that law for all mankind, because that was not set up as a law, right? Matthew chapter 11 and verse 6. This is Yahweh Shai speaking. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. So you had men that was offended in Yahweh Shai. When Yahweh Shai said certain things, those men kind of frowned up their face. Said, no, you're going against the law. You're teaching things contrary to the law of Moses. They was kind of doing their own thing, you know? Now, again, I want to go to the law. So Yahweh Shai said, blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. You can't be offended in the Passover. You got people offended in the lamb for the Passover. I'm a vegan. I really don't have to eat lamb. Yeah, you do, brother. Stop being offended. You got brothers sisters offended wearing pants. No, I don't say you can't wear pants, right? Everybody's offended at the law. They picking and choosing like these damn pastors and bishops, man, and deacons of Christianity. Right? So let's deal with it, right? Let's deal with it. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. I'm going to get a few precepts just to show it's lawful. I don't want to spend too much time on it, right? But this Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 15, right? Deuteronomy chapter 21 and 15, it reads, if a man have 2 wives, and Yahweh Shai said, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I come not to destroy, but to fulfill. All right, so these laws are still applicable. Not sacrificial laws, not penalty laws or judgment laws, such as stoning or burning people with fire, based off because you have remission of sins. And Yahweh Shai is the ultimate sacrifice. But these laws still stand. If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne them children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. Right. So if I have a wife that I don't like, that I hate biblically, and she has my firstborn son, he still has to be my firstborn son. I have to treat him as if he's my firstborn son and acknowledge that. Certain men in the ancient world, they will have a son with a woman they didn't like, and neglect both the woman and the son, even though he was the firstborn, and treat the wife that he had favor with, that he loved. He would treat that son as if he was the firstborn, simply based off of the relationship that he had with the woman. You can't do that. Now, the point is, the Lord said, if a man have 2 wives, why would the Lord say, if a man have 2 wives, if it was something that was wicked? All right. Now, I want to get another one. Let's go to Exodus. Right. Let's go to the book of Exodus, 21st chapter. All right. So let's deal with it. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 21 and verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. So if a man may already have one wife, but if that man decides to take another wife, he has to be able to take care of each wife responsibly, and you can't diminish the duties of one wife and give it to the second. Your wife may be having certain duties within the marriage. In the ancient world, she may have, went and did A, B, and C and made garments, or, went and bought a field pursuing the Proverbs 31. Those are her duties of marriage, and you have to take care of her so that she may be able to do her duties of marriage. If you were to acquire a second wife, those same duties of marriage has to remain with that first wife. Your other wife, she has to have other duties of marriage, and you have to be able to take care of her that she may perform her actual duties to benefit your household, right? So again, the Lord is saying, if a man take another wife, showing you again that a man can have more than one wife if he chooses to. It may not be for every brother, right? Brother, he might have just came into this thing. He want to focus on getting built up in the spirit. He really don't know the laws and commandments, and he should focus on his word, right? So, all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. It may be expedient for one brother, but not expedient for the next man. And that man has to make that call and discernment and say, look, am I able to handle this thing, or am I not able to handle this thing? All right. Let's get another precept. All right, let's go to the book of 1 Samuel. All right, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 1. Right, this is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1, and I'll start at verse 1. Now there was a certain man at Slakia of Ramathaim Zaphim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroam, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite. And he had two wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there. So you see that. So this man had two wives. All right, let's go to 2 Samuel. All right, let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 5 and 13. Right? 2 Samuel chapter 5 and 13. And David took him more wives and concubines. It's like David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet sons and daughters born to David. Now, what did the Lord tell David? You going off? Did Nathan the prophet or Gad the seer roll up on David and say, well, thus said the Lord, David, now you are going contrary to the will of the Most High. Therefore, thy life shall leave thee. That never happened, man. We know what David's error was with Bathsheba, and when Satan moved his heart to number Israel. But him having more wives, his heart was perfect with the Lord, because it is lawful. Now, what brothers go to, right? Again, it may not be for everybody. We're not telling the brother, yeah, brother, get a whole bunch of. No, men, you should be focusing on doing this work, especially you brothers who just came into this thing and you're trying to, get grounded in this thing. Don't be just brothers just coming to the truth who are heard that the Israelites can have more than one wife. Let me give me a Mitri and fringes and let me just give me a whole bunch of women. Come on, brother. All right. Our primary focus should be doing the work of the Most High. Now, if the Most High brings a woman to you, you understand, then you have the right to deal with her lawfully according to Scripture. All right, if you choose to. Now, I want to get this, and this is what brothers go to, right? In 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I'm gonna read 1 and 2, right? And we're going to properly break this thing down, right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Meaning a man, Paul said, I wish that all men were even as myself. Why did Paul say it's good for a man not to touch a woman? Because a man, if he's solely dialed in and he's not even married, guess what his main heart is? And his focus is doing the work. But the more woman he has, you understand, the less time he has to do the work. And he has to be willing to understand that. All right. But it said, nevertheless, to avoid fornication. Here's the whole topic. To avoid fornication. Right? Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So a brother that's a fornicator is a brother that may deal with adultery. It may be a brother that deals with wild beasts on some wild stuff. He may be into homosexuality. He may be into incest, whatever the case may be. In order for him to, not be burning in wickedness, get a wife. That's what the Lord is saying. So you can be able to, for lack of better terms, handle that. Now, is this saying when it says let every man have his own wife, is that saying you can only have one wife? No, you have to keep things in its proper context. When it says let every man have his own wife, it means this is the woman that the Most High is saying get so you can avoid fornication. And I'll give you an example. Again, I used this example before and I'll use it again. If you apply for a certain jobs may say, do you have a car or do you have reliable transportation? Every man must have his own car because this job requires man to travel. So if you're at an interview and this supervisor or manager, general manager, whatever, says, do you have your own car? If you say, no, you're not getting the job. If you say, yes, I have my own car, you may get the job. Now, is your boss going to say, well, you got 2 cars, you can't get the job? Or no, you got 3 cars, you can't get the job. You got 4 cars, you can't get the job. That's not what it means. If you have one card, then yeah, you could get the job. And it's even better if you got two cards, right? Likewise, that same context is applied here. If you have one wife, that's good to avoid fornication. If you have two wives, that's better to avoid fornication. That's what Paul is saying. Don't mean you can only have one wife. All right, it does not say that because again, Paul said, "Be a followers of me, even as I also am of Mashiach Yahushua." And Yahushua didn't come to abolish the law. All right, we have to understand that. All right, so let's and again in Isaiah chapter 4:1, let me get this precept. Right, Isaiah 4:1. Right, and brothers know this one. And a lot of brothers they took their black highlighter to Isaiah 4:1, and they said that's not really in there. It's not saying that. But let's see what the Lord said. I've heard brothers break down Isaiah 4:1 with saying that this is talking about Israelites cleaving to Yahushua because they didn't want to deal with it. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, "We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." So there is going to be a time coming where a select amount of women are going to be cleaving to one man. The Lord even said that. Rather that's 4 women or 5 women or 7 women, because they're going to have a reproach. All right. Yahushua used the parable in Matthew 25 about 5 virgins actually being married to one bridegroom. See, that's what the Lord even taught about multiple wives in a parable. Why would the Lord use something that's sinful for a righteous example? All right. So there you have it. All right, next question. From Ayaka Will, can you break down Numbers chapter 13 and 33? Let's deal with it. All right. Can we break down Numbers chapter 13 and 33? And it reads, "And there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, so we were in their sight." So you had giants back in the ancient world, right? Goliath was a giant, right? His brothers was giants. Let me get that in 2 Samuel. Now, does that mean these men were 7,000 feet tall, 4,500 feet tall, 2,000 feet tall? Is that what it's talking about? Right? I believe in the book of Enoch. I could be wrong, but I believe it says these giants in the book of Enoch were 4,500 feet tall. That's madness, man. Right? These giants were anywhere, when you look it up, even Goliath's stature, anywhere between 13 to 16 feet. All right. Now I want to get this precept. I'm gonna go back to it. Right? In I'm gonna go back to do Numbers. Let's go to 2 Samuel. 450 feet. All right, see, that's still madness, man. 450 feet. That's ridiculous. All right, this 2 Samuel chapter 23, and let's see. Well, this is what I want. Salakia. All right, bear with me. I believe this is 2 Samuel, the 23rd chapter. All right, if not, I'll find it. But you can read the account about David's mighty men killing the sons of the giant and the brothers of Goliath. They actually killed these men, and those men were mighty men. All right, those men were mighty men. All right. Now I'm gonna go back to Numbers, right? I have to find that account, but let me go back to Numbers chapter 13 and 33. These are the spies that brought a report from the land of Canaan back to the children of Israel. The Lord sent 12 spies, one man from each tribe, to do a recon mission, go to the land of Canaan, scout out everything, and bring a report back to Moses and the children of Israel. If they brought a good report back, then the children of Israel our fathers would be encouraged and zealous to go and take the land back. When you read this account, they exaggerated due to the fear in their mind and discouraged the hearts of our fathers to the point where the Lord kind of got on them and said, "You're not going to go to the promised land because you don't believe in the Most High. I don't care what you thought you saw. We could take them." You read this account. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. Joshua and Caleb, they said, "They ain't nothing else. We could take them. Let's do it." Oh, they this tall. Let's get it done. Right? This Numbers chapter 13, and I'm gonna read 30. I'm gonna start at 26. I'm gonna get the whole account. Right? I'm not gonna read the whole chapter, but I'm gonna get the account of what they brought back from the mission. All right, Numbers chapter 13 and 26. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel and to the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. So they showed them the fruit of the land, right? Grapes, figs, whatever the case may be. And they told them and said, "We came into the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak," right? Those go back to ancient Hamites. "The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it." Caleb said, "Look, we saw that, ain't none of us." And Caleb was from the tribe of Judah. He said, "Oh, we could take them down. That's easy. That's light work. Y'all talking about all these tall men and these big high walls, and hey, look, it's over. We could get it done." Right? Verse 31. But the men, check this out. But the men that went up with them said, "We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we." And these some cowards. I'll use that word, right? These are cowards, man. Weak men. And they don't believe in the Lord, man. They said these men are, what type of grown men say this? They're stronger than us. We can't beat them. Let's just stay in the wilderness and see what happens. Let's just drop dead in the wilderness. Let's just, whatever, we'll just eat the sand and die here. May the Most High with God kill us in the wilderness. No, Caleb, he wasn't thinking like that, man. But these men, they brought an evil report, right? Reading on, verse 32. And they brought up an evil report of the land. And that's wicked, man. That's the Most High's land. And you bringing up an evil report? That's like you go to a brother's house and then you start, his walls was dirty. You go to the Most High's house. Yeah, the walls was dirty. And then it was dishes everywhere. And then, it looked like he cleaned up this spot up. Then I went to the bathroom. And you bringing an evil report, man. Knowing damn well it wasn't like that. You exaggerating, you hyping things up because you fearful, And they, Numbers 13 and 32, and they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, "The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw," he said, and they said, all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. So they going off, man. And there we saw the giants. So you got to kind of picture this. These men, we saw the giants. And these, Jake, when they tell a story, they kind of add some damn spice to it, man. They do the most. It's not talking about Jack and the Beanstalk giants. If you see a Jake and he like 7 feet like that, that dude, he a giant, This man was tall. I think his head reached the ceiling. And you kind of exaggerating it, right? Which come up the giants, and we in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Yeah, so it's not literally the scale that these men are this tall and that giants are that tall. It's just, they just hyping it up. You got to kind of read this in the spirit. It's not like the Israelites are 6 feet and the giants are 4,500 feet. Right? If you up there with Yao Ming, you're like, this man, I'm like a grasshopper compared to this dude. Or Shaq. If you 5'2", you like a grasshopper compared to Shaq. You know, that's all it's saying. All right, next question. Jalen Burks. What are the 7 churches in Revelation? Well, let's deal with it. Let's go to the book of Revelation, the 1st chapter in the 11th verse. All right, let's go to Revelation chapter 1 and 11. It reads, saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. Now, this Asia is Asia Minor, which is your modern day Turkey. Unto Ephesus, that's 1, and unto Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea. Those are the 7 churches in modern day Turkey, formerly known as Asia Minor. Asia Minor. We will rule. Well, Yahweh Shah and the angels fight on foot. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Let's see how they're going to fight. All right. Are they going to get out and do hand-to-hand combat? Right? With, you know, Esau come with a bayonet and the Lord kind of duck. And that would be beautiful to see, man. The Lord get out the chariot and kind of, you know, come down and stab at somebody. And, you know, but we're going to show you what the Lord going to do, man. You know? They try to hype up that stuff, them fight scenes like in the movie 300, and the dude kind of pick up the shield and stab him and kind of do his thing. And, you know, you want the Lord to do that, and that would be beautiful to see, you know. But let's see what the Lord said, man. This 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So he waxed strong with the millions of angels and chariots. And the Lord, that's his main weapon, right? It's the chariot. That's what he's going to use to magnify his name. Man, they've seen swords before. Man have seen swords. You've seen the guns. You've seen tanks. You've seen war elephants and every form of weapons of warfare prior to this. Now the Lord is going to show you what he's going to use. These chariots are going to be used, and they're never going to be used again like the time of Yahweh Shah. This is what the Lord is going to use to magnify his name. All right. Verse 4, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and 4. It reads, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. Meaning the Lord is going to shoot out of his chariot concentrated fire, lasers, you understand, missiles, fiery projectiles, lightning beams, whatever weapon the Lord got that Esau don't have, he's going to use that. He's going to be in his chariot, and the Lord is not breaking a sweat. He's not going to sweat. He's not going to, his arm's not going to cleave to his sword because his hand is weary. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be easy, you know. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Meaning all of the men of the earth, they're going to be fighting their own battle. China's going to be fighting against this country. Russia's going to be fighting against that country. Australia against another country. And they're going to see Hamashiach Yahushua crack open the sky from the 3rd heaven. And they're going to call and tell their commanders, look, we have to stop this battle. We have to kill and try to attempt to kill Yahushua. Right? Let's read on. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or a place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. So Yahushua is going to come in a chariot in a mountain bigger than Mount Everest. His chariot is going to be bigger than New York City. It's going to be bigger than Los Angeles, right? Bigger than damn Beijing, Hong Kong. This chariot is going to be enormous, man. Now, Ezra said He thought it was a mountain. That's how big it is. And mountains aren't just long in length. Mountains are damn hundreds of feet tall. So this chariot is going to be hundreds of feet tall and hundreds of feet wide. Right? Now, man has never seen nothing like this before. All right? So let's see what else the Lord going to do. And Ezra said, I'm looking for a place where a mountain is missing from the earth, but it's not missing. Because he thought that was an actual mountain. You know? Let's read on. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they were gathered together to subdue the man, it's like to subdue him that was sore afraid and yet durst fight. So men is going to be scared. But the Lord's going to make them fight. They want to kind of drop their vehicles, their damn planes or jets, and they want to try to land and get out, but the Lord going to hack into their hard drive and make them turn and go and fight against them, you know? And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand. The Lord not lifting up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw, because, you know, Ezra, you can see him like in the spaceship. He can see him first person inside of the spaceship. Right? Reading on. Salakia. But only I saw that he had sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. See that? So they're not going to get out and fight on foot. Now they can if they want to, but the Lord said they're going to be in the chariot. All right. Next question. Salakia. Bear with me. Got to scroll back up. Next question. All right. Aunt Israel. Again, I may have to, Salakia, let's see. Bear with me. Because, like I said, sometimes they will have me skip the question, so I may have to just go off on my phone once I pass those other questions. All right, now I'm going to answer this question, then I'm going to deal with the next one. All right. Wow. Barak Atah Most High said, I seen a brother telling people to alert the authorities over multiple wives. See that? That's madness. Alert the authorities. Aunt Israel. Was Eve Adam's cousin, or were they both from the same tribe? Let's go to Tobit 4 and 12. There's no account who she was. She could have been his cousin. She could have been his, there's no account, right? But we do know they were very closely related. How do you know that? Let's go to the book of Tobit, chapter 4 and 12, right? We'll get one quick precept on that. Tobit 4 and 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly, right? Chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe, right? For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, Salakia, that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. So Tobit told Tobias, remember, my son, from the beginning, from Genesis, Adam had a wife of his own kindred. Now, we don't know if that was his cousin. We don't know, but we do know that's one of his near kindred. Right? Now, a brother asked, Kevo Tech Cargo, how do we offer up oblations to the Father in due season. See that? Now, oblations or offerings, you have many different types, right? Let's go to the book of Hebrews. You don't have a physical altar, right? You know, in a physical temple, but remember, we're the temple of the Lord. Did not the Lord call? Before I go to that, let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. The brother asked again, how do we offer up oblations to the Father in due season? In the ancient world, you had an actual priesthood that performed these functions. All right, but what did the Lord say? Right? This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5. Yea, also, as lively stones are built up a spiritual house. See that? We don't have an actual house of the Lord. We have a spiritual house, which we are. A holy priesthood. So we're priests too, man. Right? We're actual, true, living priests of the Most High God. Yahushua, he's the high priest, pursuant to Hebrews 3 and 1. But we're lesser priests. All right? Because our offering is not the same offering of the high priest, Yahushua, which was his own body. Right? Till death. Now, we have to present our bodies as a living sacrifice, but we have other things to do within the temple. You had priests that performed, they lit the incense. You understand that they set up the table with the showbread. They carried the things on staves, the tabernacle, and things of that nature. Just like now, we have different things that we perform within our priesthood, right? So the Lord called us a royal priesthood. And I'm going to show you about these oblations, right? A holy priesthood, Salakia, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to the Most High by Yahushua HaMashiach. So we're doing spiritual sacrifices, right? The Lord said in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, let's get a precept on that, right? Spiritual sacrifices. Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 16. I'm going to start at 15. Hebrews chapter 13 and 15. By him, therefore, let us offer up the sacrifice. Let's see if it's going to say a ram or a lamb or a bullock. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. So these are your offerings that you do. Thanking the Most High, the water Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, praising his name, speaking of his works. As the priesthood, you have to know what your duties are. If you go into the temple as a priest in the ancient world and you winging it, you're going to get put to death, man. Look what happened to Aaron's sons, who put the incense in the censer and went off and did their own thing and became presumptuous. There are great detailed responsibilities that the Lord gave those priests to the T. You have to perform your office as a priest. If you are not performing your office as a priest, the Lord going to pull you out the priesthood and replace you with another man. So you have to do this, right? It says, let us offer the sacrifice, right? This year you should do your morning sacrifice, your evening sacrifice, constantly throughout the day, you're performing these sacrifices as a priest, right? It says, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to the Most High continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not, for with such sacrifices, the Most High is well pleased. So the Lord don't want you to bake your own altar in your backyard and kill chickens and stuff like that. He wants you to offer up praise to his name, keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and magnify the ministry. Right? The Lord said in the Hosea, go to Hosea. Right, let's go to Hosea chapter 14 and 1. Again, a brother asks, how do we offer up oblations to the Most High now? How do we do that? Right? Let's go to Hosea chapter 14 and 1. It reads, O Israel, return unto the Lord by thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words and turn to the Lord. Say unto him, take away all iniquity and receive us graciously. So will we render the calves of our lips. See that? So we're offering up calves to the Most High, which is an animal, but it's not literal. It's the calves of our lips, meaning thanking the Most High and doing the work. You know, the Lord said, and Sirach, I'm gonna get one more in that question. All right, let's go to Sirach chapter 35 and verse 1. He that keepeth the law bringeth offerings enough, and he that taketh heed to the commandment offereth a peace offering. So we do peace offerings. We're offering the calves. We're offering our bodies. These are the different oblations and sacrifices that we're doing within the temple in the last days. Right? So the Lord said, if you take heed to the commandment, that's your peace offering. He that requiteth a good turn offereth fine flour, and he that giveth alms sacrificeth praise. So even if you give alms as a priest, you're sacrificing praise, right? Let's see. Next question. I'm gonna go back to here so brothers can see it. Right. Let's move on. Next question. All right. About the scriptures. We're gonna do questions about the scriptures. All right. From Aunt Israel. Right. Again, we're gonna do questions. Right. No personal questions. Can you explain the tribe of Dan? Let's deal with it. Let's go to the book of Genesis. All right, we're going to start with Genesis. Now, again, Dan is one of the original 12 tribes. Let's get that first in Exodus. Right? Dan is one of the original 12 tribes. Right, let's go to Exodus chapter 1 and 1. Right? Exodus 1 and 1. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, right? Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. Right? You see that? So Dan, you say, well, what the hell happened to Dan? I thought Dan was one of the original sons. He is and will always be, but you got to remember something. Let's go to the book of Genesis. Let's see what happened. All right? I believe this is Genesis chapter 48. Let's see where I want to start off at. All right, this is Genesis chapter 48 and verse 9. It reads, I'm going to start at 8. Genesis chapter 48 and 8. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? Right? And remember, Joseph within the Hebrew is Yahweh. He had two sons in the land of Egypt. He had Ephraim Iparium, which means to be fruitful, because the Lord calls him to be fruitful. And he had Manasseh, which means to forget, because the Lord made him forget his affliction. You know? So back again in Genesis 48 and 8, dealing with the tribe of Dan, we started off by naming the 12 tribes, but now we're going to show you something. Genesis 48 and 8. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom the Most High hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. So now Jacob, he's about to bless his grandsons. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age that he could not see. And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, the Most High hath showed me also thy seed. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim and his right, so he had Ephraim in his right hand, and toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. And Israel stretched out his hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn. Now again, you're supposed to put your right hand on the firstborn son, right? But Jacob, where Israel, Salakia, put his right hand on Ephraim. You know, verse 15. And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the Most High which led me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name, this is what Israel said himself, let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. So again, Jacob, for lack of better terms, Israel, has now essentially adopted Ephraim and Manasseh as his sons. You see that? So now Ephraim and Manasseh. That's why when you look on the 12 tribes chart, it'll be Judah, Benjamin, Levi, etc. And you'll see Ephraim on there, and you'll see who? Manasseh on there. There are 2 sons missing on the 12 tribes chart. You don't see Joseph on there. Neither do you see Manasseh on there. Now, you don't see Joseph on there because Joseph is Ephraim, right? Joseph's name was put on Ephraim. When you go to Numbers, all right, let's go to Numbers chapter 1. All right, let's get that in Numbers chapter 1 and verse 32. It reads, of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim. See that? By the generations after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. So again, Joseph's name was put on Ephraim. That's why you have the tribe of Ephraim right there. And he was also known as the house of Joseph. Now you have Manasseh, right? Now you see Manasseh on there, but you don't see Dan. Now again, when you go to the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter, there are certain chapters in the Bible that when it names all of the 12 tribes, you're missing certain tribes, right? When you go through Chronicles and the genealogy, I believe it's missing Issachar. Issachar is missing in Chronicles when you go through the sons, right? When you go through all of the different sons of Israel in the book of Chronicles, you'll see that Issachar isn't named, right? And you can go through that yourself if you choose to. You can go through First Chronicles and see the 4th chapter, the family of Judah, then as well as the family of Simeon, then the family of Reuben, the family of Gad, the Manasseh. You see Levi, right? You see the sons of Aaron. You see Issachar, Benjamin, Naphtali, Ephraim, Asher, right? Benjamin. But you don't see Issachar. Is that because the Lord not dealing with Issachar? No, it's just that's how the Most High had it set up. There are certain tribes that are not mentioned with all the other tribes in certain chapters. Even in Genesis. What is that? Deuteronomy. I believe that's Deuteronomy chapter 33. Right? When you read Deuteronomy 33, it gives the blessings of each tribe. Right? You read about Judah being blessed and Reuben and Levi. Right? And as you go down, you'll see Joseph, right? You'll see Benjamin, right? You'll see Gad, the Lord would enlarge Gad, Zebulun, Issachar, Naphtali, but you don't see Simeon, right? You don't see Simeon in this chapter. So you have, is that because the Lord hates Simeon? No, it's just because that's how the Lord has it set up, right? That's a reoccurring theme throughout the precepts. You'll see when the 12 tribes are mentioned, you may be missing one tribe, right? That goes back to even when they went into Egypt. All right. Not all of the sons went. Not all of the sons are named in Deuteronomy 33. Not all of the sons are mentioned in Chronicles, even in Revelation. Well, let's go to Revelation, the 7th chapter. All right. Let's go to Revelation chapter 7 and verse 4. Right. I'll do 5. Revelation chapter 7 to 5. Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. This is 144,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000, and the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Again, what tribes are you missing? Dan. You don't see Dan in this one now. Neither do you see Ephraim. You say, what happened to where's Ephraim at? Well, remember, Ephraim is Joseph. And why don't you see Dan on there? Well, the Lord didn't want to put him there, right? That doesn't mean Dan's not going to be in the kingdom of heaven. Remember, in 2nd Ezra, just like the Lord didn't want to put Simeon in Deuteronomy 33. Does that mean Simeon, he's not blessed? What about in Chronicles, when the Lord didn't put Issachar in there? Does that mean Issachar doesn't exist anymore? You got to stop thinking just because the Most High doesn't name every tribe, he's done away with them, right? Remember in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, the Lord speaks about how northern kingdom came to this side of the world, right? Let me get that. All right, and 2nd Ezra, Slakia, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and 40, right? I'm not going to read the whole account, but I'm going to read 2nd Ezra 13 and 40. It reads, these are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. So they were taken captive, right? You can read about that in 2 Kings. That they might there, so I can bear with me, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country, there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Azareth. You see that? So northern kingdom came to Azareth, which is modern day. So I can bear with me, right? Azareth is modern day America, right? And that's why you have, even with Esau and these colonizers and conquistadors, what they call the New World, right? You have old world food, you have New World. You have New World food, right? So they called this place the New World because Dan came over here. Now, Dan mainly is mixed amongst, northern kingdom because they all came over here together, but we can't pinpoint who exactly is from the tribe of Dan. The Lord is going to have the angels sever that out in the day of judgment. Now, again, when you go through the 12 gates, Dan actually has a gate, right? Let's go to Revelation 21. Right? Let's go to Revelation, the 21st chapter, right? And verse 12. It had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So these are the 12 gates. On the east, 3 gates. On the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates, and on the west, 3 gates. So those are the 3 gates from each direction. 3 gates now north, 3 gates south, 3 gates west, and 3 gates east. But check this out, right? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 48 and verse 30. I'm going to start at 30, right? Ezekiel chapter 48 and 30. And these are the goings out of the city. On the north side, 4,500 measures. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel. 3 gates northward, right? So we read about the north side. Let's read about what tribes are going to be in these 3 gates on the north side, right? 1 gate of Reuben, 1 gate of Judah, 1 gate of Levi. You're going to be from the north side in the kingdom of heaven. You're from up north, uptown in the kingdom of heaven, right? At the east side, you're going to have brothers from the east side, man. You from over east. So you might say that, look, I'm from the east side, and they're going to know what they're going to say, oh, you from the east side? What tribe? Because you got tribes on the east side. And at the east side, 4,500 and 3 gates. 1 gate of Joseph. Now, who's going through the gate of Joseph? Ephraim and Manasseh. That's why when we read in Numbers 1 and 32, it says of the children of Joseph, and namely of Ephraim, because Ephraim is the firstborn who carries that, or Ephraim has received that blessing of the firstborn who carries his father's name, Joseph. But Manasseh in the kingdom of heaven, guess what gate they going through? Manasseh's not having their own gate. Manasseh's going to go through the gate of Joseph because they belong to Joseph. Joseph received a double portion. So Ephraim and Manasseh, they're not going to have a gate for Ephraim and a gate for Manasseh. It's going to be one gate for Joseph, and both of them going in that thing. You know? So let me read that again. And at the east side, 4,503 gates, one gate of Joseph, one gate of Benjamin, one gate of Dan. Now, we don't know who Dan is, right? We don't know. We'll find out on that day, right? You may be going through the gate of Reuben, and the Lord said, where you going? Oh, I'm from the tribe of Reuben. Look, Dan. Now, you might have your head down, but you're not going to have your head down because you're in the kingdom of heaven any damn way, man. Right? So the Lord's going to determine who's from the tribe of Dan and who's not. That's one of the great mysteries, right? Just like the seven thunders. Not everything's going to be given to man and this life, all right? You're not going to have the book of the wars of the Lord. You're not going to have the Acts of Solomon's. You're not going to have the book of Iddo the prophet, right? You're not going to have the book of Gad the seer. You're not going to have any of the, all of the different mysteries, man. You're not going to have the hidden manna now. Certain things you'll get, in the kingdom of heaven. All right? Ezekiel 48-33. And at the south side, you got brothers from the south side, man. And at the south side, 4,500 measures and 3 gates. One gate of Simeon, one gate of Issachar, one gate of Zebulun. And the south side is going to be kind of crazy down there, man. And at the west side, 4,500 with their 3 gates. One gate of Gad, one gate of Asher, one gate of Naphtali. You see that? So there you have it, brother. All right, they're scattered abroad, like a lot of the tribes, but they did come over here with Northern Kingdom. All right, so let's move on to the next question. All right, let's move on to the next question. Judah Gaming. What does it mean to be rude in speech pursuant to or according to 2 Corinthians chapter 11-6? Let's deal with it. Right? Let's go to 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. So I can bear with me. This 2 Corinthians chapter 11. So I don't know who that is. All right, so like this 2 Corinthians chapter 11, and I'm gonna read 6, but then I'm gonna go back and give you the context. When you read 2 Corinthians 11th chapter, Paul is getting on the church of Corinth for glorifying and praising false apostles who came in as if they were righteous and feigned themselves just men to draw them away from the truth. So now Paul is kind of getting on them in this letter. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 11-6. For though I be rude in speech, for though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge. But we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Now, when brothers pull that, brothers often pull it. You may be kind of getting on somebody in a harsh manner out in the highways and byways. You can break it down like that. The Lord said in Job 11-6 that the secrets of wisdom are double to that which is, but you also have to keep things in its proper historical context as well. And I'm gonna read from the first verse to let you know why Paul is actually saying this, because he's kind of mad at these men. He's upset with them, right? The church of Corinth was always going off all throughout it, man. Read 1 Corinthians, man. You had these men, you had a man popping his mother, you had women all talking in the church. You had chaos. You had men speaking in 40 languages, all in one congregation. What else? They didn't want to give no money to help out Paul in the ministry. There was a lot of wickedness going on, man. They was fighting. One said, I'm Apollos. One brother, I'm of Paul. You had chaos going on. So Paul kind of checking them, man. All right, kind of checking them. And he want to kind of condemn them, for lack of better terms, man. All right. Let's go to this real quick. This I want to start at. Bear with me. 2 Corinthians 11:1. Would to God you would bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach. So Paul is jealous that other men are coming in trying to taint this church with doctrine and philosophies and pollute a virgin, right? But I fear lest any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through the subtlety, so your minds should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. So brothers are coming in the church of Corinth and trying to pull them away to circumcision and justifying yourself with animal sacrifice and all types of wickedness, man. So like you. It reads, for if he that cometh preacheth another Yahushai, whom we have not preached, or if ye received another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might bear with them. Right? But they was putting up with all manner of wickedness. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles, because Paul was up there. You know, Paul had rank, he had a great name. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge. Now, again, on a historical context, how Paul wrote his letters, when you go to 2 Corinthians 10 chapter and 10, I'm going to read about it. How Paul wrote his letters to the church of Corinth, it was a little bit different. They couldn't really know his style and how he was putting it out in the Greek. It was a different type of, for lack of better terms, Paul, he was a learned man. You understand it? And the church of Corinth, they had their own style of academics and their own style of learning. And it was a hard time receiving what Paul was actually saying. You know, that's what it's saying. So I'm going to get a precept in 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to start at 9. Right? This 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And I'm going to start at 9. That I may not seem as I would terrify you by letters. For his letters say they are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak and his speech contemptible. Let such a one think that such as we are in word by letters, when we are absent, such will we be also indeed when we are present. So his letters kind of threw him off. He said, though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge. You may not really grasp how I'm writing this thing down, but I know what I'm talking about, and I'm about to tell you about it. That's what he's saying. That's the historical context behind what's actually going on. All right. And you can kind of look more into that. All right. Next question. From Brian Guzman. Shalom, brethren. Caleb wasn't from Judah, but from a stranger or Gentile. No, Caleb was from the tribe of Judah, right? Caleb was from the tribe of Judah, right? Let's get that. Right, Caleb was from the tribe of Judah. All right, let me get this real quick in the book of Numbers. All right, we went to Numbers chapter 13 early, but we're going to go through it again. All right, Caleb was from the tribe of Judah. Numbers chapter 13 and 6. Of the tribe of Judah, Caleb, the son of Jephunneh. See that? So that's plain. He's from the tribe of Judah. All right, that's Numbers 13 and 6. From Linda Lee. If your husband dies, do you think side chick going to get anything? Wife gets all. Well, you know, that's a little bit different. That's not a question. All right. Caleb. Okay, let's go through it. Next question. Stop dodging my questions. We're not dodging your question, Rick Ruger. Is oral sex a sin? No, oral sex is not a sin. All right, let's go to Romans 5 and 13 again. All right, we're not running away from questions. Let's go to Romans chapter 5. It's lucky. This is Romans chapter 5 and 13. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. All right, so that's plain. All right, next question. Let's see. Try to deal with these questions. All right. How many, Rick Ruger, Again, how many wives can a man have? There is no limit. Where the Most High said, well, you can't have this many. When you read Deuteronomy 17, kings in the ancient world couldn't multiply wives into themselves. I mean, they couldn't have like 500 wives, 400 wives, because they had to focus on ruling the kingdom. All right. If you're a bishop, right, you're charged to have one wife, even a deacon. That's 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. All right. Not everybody's a bishop and a deacon. They should aspire to be, but they may not be on that level. Not everybody's going to come in on that level. Some men come in the 30-fold, 60-fold, and 100-fold. You can't charge a brother that came in on a 30-fold to what the brother can do on a 100-fold. All right. Next question. Let's see. All hell breaking loose with this multiple wives. All right. Let's see. Trying to deal with these questions. All right, bear with me. All right, you got brothers going back and forth on the comment board, man. All right, it's madness going on. I'm trying to get to the questions. So bear with me 1 second as I scroll down and go through these questions. The brothers are asking good questions. All right, I believe this is what I want. Can you break down? Okay, here you go. A legitimate question from Yvette McKellar. Can you break down Revelation chapter 21 and 4? Thanks. Let's go to it. Revelation. It's lucky. Let's deal with it. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 4. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be immortal, right? That's what you're looking for. You're going to be immortal. You're not going to have pain. You're not going to have funerals where people are crying that a man they loved when they spent so long with, now they died, now the person is crying. You're not going to wake up and stub your toe. You're not going to feel any pain. It's plain. That's plain upon tables. All of the depression, all of the damn oppression, all of the wickedness that we experience here in Babylon the Great, all that's going to be cast away and thrown out the way, because that stuff belongs to the first heaven and the first earth. Right? When our heaven is established, the second heaven, right, under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we're not going to experience what we experience here in Babylon the Great on a mental level, an emotional level. You're not going to have stress in the kingdom of heaven. You're not going to have anxiety. You're not going to have to worry about procrastination and worrying. You're going to get things done when you feel like getting them done, and righteousness. Right? So these are the fruits that come with the first heaven. I mean, with the being the kingdom of heaven, or being in the kingdom of heaven. From Amala, aka Edwin Howard. According to Genesis 1:28, how can someone say a woman can't teach? Let's deal with it. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1 and 28. All right. It reads, and the Most High blessed them, and the Most High said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Yeah, that has nothing to do, with women being able to teach or not being able to teach. Women can't teach men. They can't teach a congregation of men, right? The Lord said in the book of, they can teach younger women and their children, but this is what the Most High said, right? This is the book of Numbers, chapter 27 and verse 16. I'm going to start at 15. Numbers chapter 27 and 15. And Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. See that? So a man is set up as the head of a congregation. Now, a woman can teach younger women and children, right? That's the book of Titus. Let's go to Titus, the 2nd chapter. All right, this is Titus chapter 2 and 2. It reads, the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young woman to be sober. So this is what they can teach. They can't go and break down the book of Revelation, Daniel, Genesis, Zechariah. You see them out there talking about bring it out. And there was this video with this brother and his wife out on the highways and byways. And he was reading for his woman. And his woman was bringing it out. And his woman said, come on, read on. Hurry up, find a precept. Keep that book open. And the husband, what do I find? What do I find the book? And she kind of looked at him, and then she started bringing it out. Right? Now, the Lord not dealing with that, man. That is completely out of order. Now, the woman, they got to be able to teach the younger women to be sober, to love their husbands. You see that? To love their children. These things have to be taught. Because you were taught by the so-called white man what loving your husband is. Right? Talking back, bringing in money. You might bring in money. You might have ordered carry out for them. You might have took the kids Christmas shopping. That might be loving the children. No, that's not what it is. So the older woman in this thing, they have to clarify and restore what it truly means to love your husband by being submissive, by keeping the commandments, by looking at him as if he's Yahweh Shah. That's what it truly means to love your husband. So the world has their notion. Because you talk about your old grandmother who was a thought back in the 40s and 50s. And then your mother, she was out there doing her thing in the 80s. And then you might have been born in the 90s or whatever the case may be. And all that stuff was passed down, man. Play the field, all types of wickedness. Women then don't teach their daughters righteousness, how to reverence their husbands. I seen a grandmother and a mother damn near twerking together. Madness, man. So righteous women have to be an example. They should be the vanguard showing a younger woman how to, and I was on a so-called clubhouse and they had a beautiful room in there. I kind of saw the title. It said older wives kind of teaching younger wives. And it was in there kind of breaking stuff down to the younger wives. What it really means to love your husband. What it really means how to love your children. Not just feed them Kraft macaroni and cheese while you got a Negro in the house and y'all went in there and closed the door. And told them turn the TV up. That's not what it means to love your children. It reads to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet. Older women, in this truth, they have to teach younger women how to be discreet. Let's pull up the definition of discreet. All right. People may not know that word. That's not a common word in Eve's vocabulary. Right? Discreet. Careful and circumspect in one's speech or actions, especially in order to avoid causing offense or to gainsay an advantage. Meaning you low key, you quiet, you're inconspicuous. One of the synonyms: closed-lipped, closed-mouthed, right? Sensible. Meaning you got to know when to speak, when not to speak. You don't always got to say nothing. Women have to teach women that now. Because now women, they teach women, do your thing. You got it, girl. Tell them what's on your mind. You play him. All types of wickedness, man. So now the righteous women have to come up and say, look, we can't do that no more, right? We have to be helpmeets to our husbands. Look, we have to go and show you what Sarah did. Look, I show you what Rebecca did. Look, you can't talk back to your husband. Look, if you do that, look what happened to Micah. Look what happened to this. And these women, they have to kind of be on fire in this thing, man. And our young women have to say, Con, yeah, I understand. I was taught by my mother to do A, B, and C. Women, you got to teach these women now how to close their legs. You got women sitting at the store, whatever. They got their legs all open. You know what I'm saying? They sitting there burping and farting. Scratching they flakes all over the place. They talking like a dude, rubbing their hands. A woman not really effeminate like that nowadays. So, our women got to kind of step it up. Men got to step it up to show the woman how to be a righteous woman, and a woman got to show the younger woman. So women teaching plays a very vital role within the nation. And if you're a younger woman, you should want to be taught how to love your husband because you don't know everything. You should want to be taught how to love your children from experienced women. That's a humble thing to do. You should want to be taught how to be discreet, what things you do in public, what things you don't do in public, you know, certain etiquette, certain things on, you know, how to sit, when to get up. You understand how to address your husband, how to address a situation. How do you bring a problem about to your husband? How, you know, what do you do? These things have to be taught. And I can't teach you how to be a woman, you know, like, I mean, we can go through the precepts, but really older women who are experienced, they have to teach the younger women these things, man. Right? They have to go through it. You understand? Now, again, where else we at? It's like you said, that they may teach the young women to be sober. Oh, Salaki, where we at? Titus chapter 2 and 4. That they may teach the young woman to be sober. I forgot that one too. You got to teach women how to be sober, man. And dealing physically too. You got women that bringing out damn bottles. Every time you see them, they got a bottle. They got the little bottle. You know what I'm talking about, that you get from the gas station. Maybe 2 for $1. Damn, you might get a little bottle of Smirnoff. Damn, little thing of damn a Crown Royal. You know what I'm talking about. It's sitting there right next to the damn glass, man. And it's probably $1. And they always got that in their purse. Or a bottle of wine. They always drinking. You gotta have the women say, look, you can't drink. It's not time. You should be studying right now. You know, and it would be beautiful to see more of our women teaching the younger woman and young women learning from that. So they got to teach the young woman to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste. So let's pull that up. Chaste. What does it mean to be chaste? All right. So I'm glad this brother asked this question because now we gotta kind of go through it. And if you're a woman, you got to examine yourself daily. Do I really love my husband? Not according to my own opinion, but am I doing what Sarah did, what Rebecca did, Rachel, Leah, my foremothers? Right? Am I following the laws and commandments, or am I just doing my own thing? You know, chaste, it means abstaining from extramarital or from all sexual intercourse. Intact, virginal, unmarried, self-denying, pure, innocent, pure as the driven snow. And these synonyms kind of go crazy, man. Pure as the driven snow, sinless. These are synonyms for chaste. Uncontaminated, undefiled, decorous, squeaky clean, vestal, immaculate. Right? Now here's some antonyms. Here's the opposite of being chaste. Right? It says certain the opposite is I just saw it. One of them was promiscuous. You see that? You want to be a low-key sister. You don't want to be known, you know what I'm saying, for being the loudest in the room, you know, drunk, right? That's going off. All right, to be chaste, keepers at home. Women got to teach young women, stay at home, man. You know, we'll be out there at the damn harbor. It be women out there with their damn crop top, cleavage showing, body all out, walking around, looking for lust, smoking a Black and Mild, got a damn Beats pill with a keychain attached to their book bag, might have a bottle of liquor, might be following some dude. Stay at home, man. All these women coming up missing, that's the Most High judging them, right? Stay at home, all right? Get your house in order. Have a plan. Look, okay, look, this is how I want, you know, we running low on this. Look, let me make sure that we got this. You're doing inventory. You kind of making sure, look, my husband, look, he running low on garments. You don't have to, look, let me make sure we get this done. Look, so read Proverbs 31. All right. You got to kind of get that stuff done. Obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. See that? So women have to teach other women how to obey their husbands. Because you got women now, they think they know how to obey their husband. Because they was watching Fresh Prince. You saw Vivian. You saw how Vivian dealt with Uncle Phil. You said, well, that must be how you obey your husband. You watched that woman from Why Did I Get Married To? You know who I'm talking about, the loud woman. She's loud in all of the movies, screaming Marcus. You think that's how you obey your husband, right? You've seen all these different TV shows and movies on how men deal with men, and you kind of been conditioned. So you have to have women to break them strongholds down and say, no, this is how you love your husband. This is how you love your children. This is how you're meek, shamefaced, and kind, and a pillar of rest. So, Genesis 1 and 28 don't have much to do with it, but Titus, the 2nd chapter, does. All right. Let's see. Next question. Let's deal with it. All right. We're trying to get to these questions. All right. Bear with me. All right. From Draw TV. Can you explain John 3:16? Hey, we have no problem going through John 3:16. All right. We have no problem going through the book of John, the 3rd chapter and the 16th verse. Right. Let's actually deal with it. Right. John chapter 3 and 16. Right. And every brother, you should know how to break down John 3:16, because when you're out there teaching, that may be the main opposition you get. That's what they run to first. That's their first bullet in the clip. They think that's their weapon to end that spiritual warfare and dialogue. If they pull John 3:16, they believe that you're going to be confounded. You have to let them know that's what you believe is talking about. It's not what it's actually talking about. And break it down. It's like it planed upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Right? Let's deal with it though. John chapter 3. It's like John chapter 3 at 16. And it reads, bear with me. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoso believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You see that? So again, when it says for God so loved the world, I always ask people, what God is this talking about? Is this Zeus? Is this the God of Buddhism? Or is this the God of Hinduism? What God is this? This is the God of Israel, man. Right? Did not the Lord say in Luke chapter 1 and 68, and simply breaking down what God this is will do wonders to understanding the rest of the verse. Right? The Lord said in Luke chapter 1 and 68, it reads, right? And I like to stay in the New Testament, because if you go to the Old Testament, they might just say that doesn't exist anymore. So you want to kind of cutting up these Christians, try to stay in the New Testament. If not, you can deal with the Old Testament. All right, Luke 1 and 68. Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people. So now the God that so loved the world is the God of Israel, not the God of everybody, not the God of all mankind, not the God of the Moabites, not the God of the Ammonites, but the God of Israel. So now this is selective right here. You have two Jews. When you read the beginning of this chapter, you have Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews, and you have Hamashiach or Malach Yahushai, the son of the living God. All right, you have both of these men. And what are they talking about? They're talking about the God of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.
Come. Yahweh Shemel Shai Barakatham.
Yahweh Shemel Barakatham.
All right, you see that? So this is the God of Israel, and it says, for God so loved. Now, when it says loved, that means there's a time written where the Most High showed his love to a particular nation of people. ED at the end of a word, that suffix means past tense. So if God so loved the world, we have to go back in the scriptures and see who did the Most High really love, right? Let's go to 2nd Chronicles, chapter 9 and 8. Right, let's deal with it. Right, this is the book of 2nd Chronicles, chapter 9 and verse 8. It reads, blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighteth in thee, to set thee on his throne, to be king for the Lord thy God, because the Lord thy God loved Israel, to establish them forever. Therefore made he thee king over them, to do judgment and justice. So the God of Israel, he so loved Israel. See that? So let's read it again. For God so loved, so the God of Israel so loved Israel, right? For God so loved the world. That lets you know that world is not just the planet Earth. It's speaking about the world of Israel. We already read in the Old Testament who the Most High loved. Right? That word world isn't speaking about everybody. That word world is a particular class or group of individuals, peoples, persons, places, or things. Right? Let's get this in the book of James, chapter 3 and 6. Let's get a
I got a precept after you.
Let me get this real quick. This is the book of James, chapter 3, right? James chapter 3 and 6. It reads, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is a tongue, how can the tongue be its own world? I would ask you, well, how would the tongue be its own world? See that? So the tongue is a world of its own. Did God love this world right here? Is that what it's talking about, the tongue? How are we able to break down what world he loved? Because right now, when James said the tongue is his own world, the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue amongst our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on the fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. You got it, Yardan. You got a quick precept.
This book of John, chapter 18, verse 20. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. Right, but it's going to explain what world he's speaking about. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple. Only people that really dwelt in the synagogue and the temple was the Jews. And he tells you, whether the Jews always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. So he's telling you that this is the world. It's like this world is the world of the Jews.
That's right. Got another precept in Luke chapter 2. You have to be able to break down what this world is. Right? Luke chapter 2 and 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. Was that speaking about Gad on this side of the world? Did they travel to America and tax them? Did they go to Japan and tax the Japanese and the Chinese and the Moabites? What does it mean all the world should be taxed? Speaking about what? The world of Rome. If you were in the damn districts of Rome, you were going to be taxed if you were one of those provinces. So again, when you go to John 3:16, what world is that? Is that the world of the Jews? Yardan went into? Is that the tongue? Is this the Roman Empire? Yahushua said in John 17 and 9, then he said, I pray not for the world. So now we have to clarify. So that's why we go to the book of, let me get Psalms 90 and 2 real quick. Right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 90 and 2. It reads, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hast formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art the Most High. So you got the earth and you have the world, right? So what world is that? That's the world of Israel, right? And we know that. We go to Isaiah, right? Isaiah chapter 45 and 17. It reads, but Israel shall be saved, and the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed, nor confounded. World without end. See that? So Israel is his own separate world. So back in John 3:16, for God, the God of Israel, so loved the world of Israel that he gave his only begotten son. And we know in Matthew 1 and 21 that he gave his son to save his people. That he gave his only begotten son, that whoso believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Now that whoso are the same whoso in John 3 and 14. Right? So let's go to John 3:14. A lot of people say whosoever, meaning everybody. No, it's not everybody. Right? If I say whosoever want to post a scripture, am I talking about the people and damn Antarctica? No, I'm not talking about them. Whosoever is not relative to everybody, right? It's inclusive. It's dealing with a particular group of people. All right, who the audience is. All right, let's get that real quick. And John, can you hear me, Yardan? I don't know what happened. Let me get this real quick. Right, John 3 and 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. So as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, now you got to ask yourself, well, who did Moses lift up the serpent in the wilderness for? Why would he do that for? He did that for the Israelites. How you know that? Because who was Moses dealing with in the wilderness? He was dealing with the Israelites. Let's get that in Numbers chapter 21. Right? Salakia, can brothers hear me? Brothers said I'm breaking up. With me.
Okay, you breaking up a little.
Am I still breaking up?
God.
No, I am.
Oh, no, you good now.
All right. Brothers can't hear me. Right. Brothers, let me know if they can hear. Right, before we continue. All right, all praise to the Most High. All right, in and out, cutting out. All right, well, bear with us, right? Bear with us. So again, in Numbers chapter 21, right? Numbers chapter 21 and 9. I'm gonna start at 7. Numbers 21 and 7. Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he may take away the serpents from us. And the Lord and Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And this shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. Who's the everyone? It says everyone that looks upon this pole, that this serpent upon this pole that's lifted up, they're going to live. Who is Moses talking to? Us, the children of Israel. So you want to keep this whosoever in this proper context, right? Or the anyone. That's speaking about any one of the Israelites. That's why he said, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, right? And the Son of Man was lifted up for what? For the Israelites, that they can be healed. All right, so that's how you break that down, King. All right, next question. From Barakatha, Most Highest. Who is the Prince of Peace? And who is that talking about in Isaiah 9? You still didn't tell me. All right, well, let's deal with it. All right, let's deal with it. Who is the Prince of Peace? That's speaking about Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, Wamalak, right? Let's get that in Isaiah the 9th chapter. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name, Salakia, shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. So Yahweh Shai is the Prince of Peace. Why? Because he brought peace between us and the Heavenly Father. He brought peace between our flesh and our spirit. We don't have to deal with that war between the flesh and the spirit anymore. He brought peace between us and our enemies. We're not worried about oppression anymore in the kingdom of heaven, right? So peace is manifold, so he's the Prince of Peace, That's Yahweh Shai. Next question. All right, let's see. From Yah is king, is calling on his name, breaking the law, and Deuteronomy 18 and 20. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 20. Right, Deuteronomy chapter 18 and 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. So, no, calling upon the name of the Most High is not breaking that, brother. Right? If you calling upon the name of other gods, then you're going off. All right, and the Most High is going to cut you down. All right. Next question. Yardan, you on?
God.
All right, you got it from Ashley Spencer.
Deuteronomy 23 and 7 through 8. Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. Verse 8. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. All right. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. To everything that, first off, I want to explain that word abhor goes into the word to detest, right? To do detestably unto them, right? Smack them in the face, punch them in the gut, doing things like that. You can't do that. But this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. Right, on the flip side, it says this, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die and a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, right? So I'm bringing this up because there's a time and a place for everything, right? And there's even a time to hate, like you say in verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So there's no sin in hating the nations, right? But there is sin in doing detestably unto them, right? This is Romans chapter 12, verse 18. This is what I want. God, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. That's what we have to do today. We have to live peaceably unto all men. Right? We can't go up into the workplace and kind of tell Esau you're going into slavery. We got to be wise as the serpent. So I'm gonna read it again, Deuteronomy 23 and 7. Thou shalt not abhor really mean going into to do detestably an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, right? Because thou wast a stranger in his land. Same goes for him. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the congregation of the Lord in their third generation. And it's not going into them enter into the kingdom.
Right.
Right? It's more so going into when there's assembly, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, when there's assembly going on, got your servant right there, kind of right there, kind of listening.
Right.
And I believe there was a precept in Judges. Is that the 8th chapter?
On what?
Regarding an assembly. I'll have to
Judges
find it.
20.
Let me see.
And all Israel assembled themselves like a great congregation.
God, but it was another man. He brought somebody with him in that assembly. But I'm going to read Genesis 20. Then all the children of Israel went out, and the congregation was gathered together as one man from Dan even to Beersheba, the land of Gilead, and to the Lord of Mizpah. And the chief of all the people, even of all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 footmen that drew sword. So that's what that's going into.
Con. You have anything else you want to add on it?
You? Oh.
All right, from Barakatha Most High, break this down. Yah is king. Who is the first God? And Psalms chapter 45 and 7. Let's deal with it. Psalms chapter 45 and 7. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of thy kingdom is a right scepter. So like that was 6, verse 7. Thou lovest righteousness and hatest wickedness. Therefore, God, thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. Right. So Yahweh Shai has a God. All right. That's all that's saying, which is the Heavenly Father. All right. Next question. Oh, we got Old Testament Israelites in here. You see that?
Yeah, I kind of thought so.
Yep. Come on, brothers. It's Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. That's it. Right? Not no Yah only. Right? There's no Yah only. You know? Dealing with Yahweh Shah. Are we dealing chiefly with Yahweh Shah? All right, next question. All right. Let's see. Next question, brothers. They kind of going into this Yah only thing. All right, next question. From 3J, is Job chapter 5:23 a future prophecy? You want to break it down, Yardan?
Okay, let me get there.
It's Job chapter 5:23 through 26 as a future prophecy. What does verse 26 mean?
I'm gonna start verse 23. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. Right? In short, we're gonna have a contract with the environment, and basically saying we're gonna be chill, right? You're not gonna get stung by bees, you know. You're not gonna get ran over by an ox, right? Ran through by an ox. You know, we're gonna be on one accord, right? They're gonna be real submissive to us, going into the animals. Verse 24, and thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace. Thou shalt visit thy habitation and shalt not sin, of course, right? Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Right? We're going to reproduce in the kingdom. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as the shock of corn cometh in his season. Right now, a lot of brothers will bring this verse out to kind of justify, or they'll pretty much say that we're going to die in the kingdom. However, we know that's not the case. Let me get this in Hosea 12:10. I have also spoken by the prophets. I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So when you read certain verses in Job, it's not always going to be plain upon tables. It's going to be written poetically. It's going to be written in that's the best word I would use, poetically, right? So when he said, "Thou shalt come into thy grave in a full age," that can't be a grave because we're not going to give up the ghosts. How do we know? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Before that,
Yep.
I want Philippians chapter 3, verse 21. Who shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body, according to the working whereby he is able even to subdue all things unto himself. So if our body is going to be changed like unto his glorious body, how is that angels? How are we going to enter the grave? It doesn't make any sense. Why would we die with a glorious body? Let me get another one real quick. 1 Corinthians 15, and I believe that's 52. It says this, outside of verse 51. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Right? For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Right? Verse 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? right? So we're not going to die in the kingdom. Let me go back to let me get one more. Let me get one more. Bear with me. Saying wisdom of Solomon.
Bring it out.
Goodness.
Bring it out. Bring it out. Wake them up. Wake them up.
So here we go. This one's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23. For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Right? So Israel got to deal with that as well. We're made to be immortal. So let me go back to Job. Can you still hear me?
Con, bring it up.
Job chapter 5, verse 26. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. In other words, we're going to live a long, good life, right? And we'll always be satisfied. Similar to at the very end of Job, it says this, Job chapter 42, verse
What you looking for? You found it?
Hello?
Yeah.
Could you hear me?
No, I ain't hear you.
I brought out Job 42 and 17,
Okay, con.
where it says Job died being old and full of days. So in the kingdom, we're going to live a long, beautiful life.
Con. You got anything else you want to add on it?
You?
And we went to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you said what?
I was saying we went to Revelation. Or sister asked about Revelation chapter 21 and verse 4 about there should be no more crying, like your or death or sorrow. So we kind of covered that thing, you know. So we can move on from King Hebrew. May we trim down our beards as Nazarites if your rib complains about patches. Let's go to Numbers chapter 6. All right, let's deal with it. Let's go to Numbers. It's like a 6th chapter. And I'm going to read verse 5. All the days of the vow for separation, there should no razor come up on his head. And you can't cut your hair. Now, don't cut your beard, brother, either. I won't even trim your beard. Don't trim your beard. Don't trim your hair. Right? Until the days be fulfilled in the which he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall be holy and shall let the locks of his hair on his head grow. Now, say your hair. Now, brother, again, I wouldn't trim my beard. I wouldn't trim my beard either. Just let it all grow. All right. Next question. You gonna deal with this when y'all done? Keon Boyce, what's the difference between the devil, Satan, and Lucifer? Y'all done? You on mute?
Salakia. Straight up and down, the devil, when you go into the etymology of the word, it simply means deceiver. Right? Esau is the devil. Right? He's the great deceiver. Satan is that spiritual demon that let me bring out the precept. Let me just bring it out. This Job.
I got a precept. I got one after you.
God, this Job chapter 2, verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Right? So Satan is that we say the spiritual demon Satan, right? And Lucifer, that word just means light bearer, right? Now that the connotation changed over time because of Catholicism and Christianity, to where you hear the word Lucifer, you would see in your head a red man with a pitchfork. However, that just means a light bearer. To elaborate, you can have a light bearer on the right hand side and on the left hand side, right? Like the scriptures say. Let me bring it out. One precept real quick. Let's see if this is it. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Is that what I wanted? Yeah, in the scriptures, the commandments is the light, right? So we've heard some brothers say we're Lucifer, we're Luciferians, you know. And it's another, yeah. Jake got to be careful with their words, because not everybody knows that. You know, you got to be wise as a serpent. Don't go offending the little ones, right? But again, that's the result of Catholicism and Christianity, that people believe Luciferian and Lucifer automatically means a demon.
Yeah. The Lord said in Baruch chapter 4, it says, walk in the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Because we're the real illuminated ones. If you in this truth and you understand what that word means, hey, you're the real Illuminati. Now I know the brothers getting mad at me. Right? What do you mean that we're the illuminated ones? Brother, them illuminated means full of light. So we're the illuminated ones on the right-hand side because we're moving in the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. Did not Yahushua say in John, and I'm going to do a cold cut on this because I like this question. I'm going to take this question and I'm going to do an independent cold cut on it, most I willing, for sake of time. Because that got to be kind of clarified who is the devil, Satan, and Lucifer, right? Now this, all right, let me go to this, man, see, made me forget what precept I was about to go to. I want to go to
precept.
All right, let me go to this real quick. This Revelation chapter 2. I'm gonna do 22. This is Revelation chapter 22 and verse 16. And we kind of went into this at camp, this past Saturday. I, Yahushai, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. Yeah, so Yahushai is the ultimate morning star. He's the ultimate light bearer. I was going to go to John 8 and 12 where Yahushua said that I am the light of the world, right? So if Yahushua is the bright and morning star, being the first light you see in darkness, you understand he would be the true light bearer. He's the true quote unquote light bearer of this world. Esau, he's Lucifer on the left hand side. What is his light that the nations gravitate to? His technology, his fashion, his Hollywood, his philosophies, his politics, his religion. These are the things that is an amalgamation of Esau's light, where the other nations look at this man like he's God. They'll leave the land of Ham. They'll leave China. They'll leave their morals behind, their ethics behind. They'll leave their damn doctrines behind because they believe personally that in order for them to be accepted, they have to get the so-called white man's green light. So they want to come to his light, but it's really darkness. The true light is the knowledge and understanding. Now, right now, this truth, it seems like it's darkness because we're the hate group. We're the bigots. We're the black separatists. We're the black identity extremists. We're black poor men out there with Bibles. But we're the true light bearers. So that's when you're dealing with this word Lucifer, it just means a light bearer. I have one more precept, we are done. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 27. Right? It reads, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall it be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. What does it mean that the Lord is going to give the elect the morning star? That means he's going to go up and take a hot star and Lord, oh, it's kind of hot, and throw it at you, and you take it, oh, Lord, it's hot, why'd you get it? They ain't talking about that. The morning star meaning what? In the kingdom of heaven, you're going to be a light, the ultimate light. For who? For the other nations. Even in this life, we have the morning star, right? But it's ultimately talking about when you overcome. When you overcome, then when the other nations have to come to this truth, or for lack of better terms, keep the laws and commandments, you're going to be the first light that they see. you're going to be the new morning star, and Lucifer is going to be, cast down from heaven in this life. You got that? Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to bring that out after you get your precepts.
John, this is Job 10:22. A land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. So they have a light, but it's not the type of light that'll really give you wisdom and knowledge, right? That's all I want to say.
And I want to go to Isaiah chapter 14 and 12, right? Isaiah chapter 14 and 12. It reads, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" Now, again, that's chiefly speaking about Esau himself. See that? So Lucifer falling from heaven doesn't mean the actual demonic demon fell from the third heaven to the earth. Christians would believe that because they fail to realize that Esau is Lucifer, the so-called white man that gives you your food stamps, that gives you your WIC, you understand, that allows you to put your husband on child support, that allows you to get that job, and he'll give you a place to stay at. They don't understand that man is Lucifer. And the Lord said, have no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed to an angel of light. Because Lucifer is an angel of light, a messenger to bring forth the light. But the light is really darkness. Now, Satan, I believe Yardan was going into that, is the actual spiritual demon. Lucifer is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Lucifer receives his power from Satan. Let me say that again. Lucifer, he gets his light hand passed down to him from who? From Satan, from the east of Eden. See, that's so Satan is the boss of Lucifer. Now, a lot of Christians, they kind of leave in the chat. What do you mean? Yeah, Satan, that's his daddy, man. You know? And let me get this. I wanted to get that in Job because you kind of quoted it, but I'm gonna read it. This Job chapter 2 and 1. "And there was a day when the sons of God, meaning the angels, came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord." Now, Lucifer, he's not allowed in this meeting. He has no qualifications to be here. But Satan, he has the credential to be here because he works for the Most High as an actual spirit. Esau or Lucifer, he's not an actual spirit. He's a carnal-minded man. But the spiritual part of him is who? Satan. Now, the word Satan in the Hebrew is shaitan, which means adversary or enemy of what? Of what's righteous. And Lucifer, again, receives his power from Satan. And the devil, you understand? The devil is just a generic term used for somebody like Yardan went into to deceive. You got Jake that can be a devil, but Jake really can't be Lucifer. Moabites can be a devil, but they can't be Satan, if you can understand. You just got to know when to really draw the line. You got a precept, Yardan?
A lie.
All right, I got this in let me get this in Revelation chapter 12. Right? Revelation. And again, the thing about this word devil is there's not just one devil. There's only one Lucifer. There's only one Satan. You don't have many Satans. One Satan, one Lucifer, and many devils. Because Satan is his one spirit. Lucifer is one man, Esau himself, right? But you have many devils. But the chief devil is who? Esau, Lucifer. You know? Like I said, I kind of like this topic. So I may kind of do a cold cut, kind of go through some more precepts, show you what Satan's job is, go into some history, kind of dive into it. Now, I was going to the book of James. Before Revelation, let me go to James 2, because it speaks about many devils, right? This is the book of James, chapter 2 and 19. "Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils," that's plural, devils, the devils also believe and tremble. So you have more than one devil. See that? And your pastor, he's a devil. Esau, he's the chief devil. Anybody that's set up to deceive you is a devil. Now, these devils, you understand, are actual demons. So these devils in this context are deceiving demons, left-hand side angels. Any angel, because this can get complex. Any angel on the left-hand side is a devil. There's not just one devil. Saul had the devil on him. You know, who else? The Lord plagued the Egyptians with devils. You know, you might have a lust devil on you. This word devil and demon are kind of interchangeable. We're gonna put that out there. Sometimes you may use the word demon. Hey, look, you might use the word devil. You may got a lust devil on you, and that sounds a little bit more severe. A lust devil, right? That sounds a little bit more, you know, like you really need to handle that, right?
Right.
Jake, and you got a lust demon. All right, whatever. You got a lust devil on you. Now you being deceived to believe that lust is the appropriate way to go. So, you know, there you have it, bro. Unless you had another precept, Yaradan. Oh, I had one more. Revelation chapter 12 and 9. It reads, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with them. And that's speaking about Esau. Sometimes Esau is called Satan because he moves in that image, but he's not actually Satan, if you can understand. That word Satan just means adversary. That's why he's called Satan in Revelation 12, because he's the adversary. You know? All right, so next question. From Draj TV, where do you recommend I learn Hebrew? Brother, what do you say?
Me?
Khan.
You have an app called Zadok. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's ZADDOK.
Khan, ZADOK. Khan, yeah.
And then you also have the realhebrewisraelites.org or .com. And you can go into Hebrew language. You got a list of prayers. You got a list of words in the Hebrew. You can practice. There's also a book by Jeff A. Benner, Going into the Hebrew Tongue. Let me pull it up real quick.
And there's an elder in the house of David, the actual camp, right? When we do the double honors to the house of David, it's for the elders in Israel, the elect elders in Israel from various camps. But there's an actual camp called the house of David, which has an elder, and I have to see if I can get back in contact with him. Now thinking about it, I got a message from one of these men back from the camp, but he has an actual book. He actually goes to the Hebrew. He has a detailed book with all types of Hebrew assignments and words and adjectives, pronouns, and all types of information. And they're on YouTube too. If you do like the House of David, and then you see like the Lashwar Kodash, you type that in YouTube, you'll see brothers that do mighty lessons. And there's brothers from GMS, they've done mighty lessons. The Apostle Rhyme Lob, other men, there are men that have done things from House of David. You could just type in Lashwar Kodash on a YouTube, and you might see certain videos you might like. We've done videos on it too. Atazaram Gabar, he's done videos on the Hebrew. We've done a lot on the Cold Cut channel, you know. But you got to yard down.
It's called It's called The Ancient Hebrew Language and Alphabet by Jeff A. Benner. Oh, I can't flip my camera. Oh, well, but it's kind of seeing.
Oh, is that okay? Con. All right. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, you're going to the language. You're going to the alphabet as well.
Con. Does that have the Lashwar Kodash, or is that just the ancient paleo?
No, this is ancient paleo.
So yeah, so you got that's a good one too if you want to go to ancient paleo. You know, Judamania. Are there any accounts of the Most High getting off the throne? No, the Most High does not get off the throne. Right? The Most High does not get off the throne. The King himself, the Heavenly Father, does not, and he's not getting off the throne. He's the Most High. Right? The King doesn't have to get off the throne. I want to see if I can get this precept. I believe I want this in Proverbs. Bear with me. This Proverbs chapter 20 and 8. A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. So the Most High scatters away evil with his eyes. You don't have to scatter away evil or do things himself. He has his eyes. The angels, they perform his duties. Right? So that king in that context, again in Proverbs 20 and 8, is the Most High. A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. All right. Next question. From Lorraine Desmoulin. You want this one, y'all done?
Where can I read it? I live in this reserved small community. I love following along. Where can I read? Where I can read with understanding. Think. Is that a question?
Yeah, I live on a reserved small community. I love following along where I can. Oh, I thought it was where can I read? Okay, Salaki. Okay. All right, well, all praise to the Most High. You're getting edified. Okay. All right. All praises. All right. Next question. From Mordecai. Oh, Salaki, yes, we skipped this one. From Girly Girl Blue. Can you explain, Salaki, can you please explain how the Northern Kingdom came to America? You want that one since the last one wasn't the question?
God, the second Esdras.
And I see if I got a precept, I'm gonna add on it.
I got two quick ones.
Come on.
Yeah. The second Esdras chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea, the king whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And it's like he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, right? But it's like where they took this counsel amongst themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Right now, it's going to tell you the path they took, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs of them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Azarath. Right? Now this is Job. That's an account of Northern Kingdom, the 10 tribes going to what we call America today. I wanted Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33, and it reads this. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel, right, and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go, right? Now this also touches on Israel and Judah being oppressed together in one land. Obviously, not all of Israel and Judah in one land, but you see for the vast majority, this primarily Judah and Israel in the land of America. This is the melting pot. And how did they get here? We just read the account in Second Esdras, the 13th chapter. The only way they came here would have to be by boat. So contrary to popular belief, they always wasn't just here. They didn't just poof here. They took a boat.
Right. They'll say they crossed the Bering Strait some 30,000 years ago from Russia to Alaska, and then they kind of migrated all the way down to the islands. So there you have it. Mordecai Banyamyan, Shalom King, Shalom. I'm not sure about this. Could you break down why we must remove unleavened bread from the home on Passover? The water, King. Let's deal with it. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5. And I'm going to start at first, before we actually go to 1 Corinthians 5, we're going to backtrack and show what the brother's talking about, because somebody may not know. Somebody may not know that we have to remove leaven from our house, you understand, for the Passover. All right, so let's go to the book of Exodus, the 12th chapter. All right, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 12. And where's that? Bear with me. All right, let's get this. I believe that's Exodus 12. Right, about the unleavened bread being out of the house. Salakia, Israel, bear with me. Right, now you know what that precept is?
Unleavened bread. Exodus chapter 23.
12 and 19. I got it. 12 and 18. All right, this Exodus 12 and 18. And the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. Right? So your Passover is your first day of your feast of unleavened bread. 7 days there shall be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, and all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. So you can have what causes leaven? Yeast. And there's other things that cause leaven, but you'll have to kind of post that. It's like we may have to post that and show brothers. You have other, Esau, he has all of these chemical formulas and technical terms that you may not know what this thing is, man. You may have something with yeast in it, but it may be called so and so and so and so, right? So you want to, do a detailed check and check. Anything can have yeast, and you got to check your seasonings. You got to get rid of your bread, obviously, pastries, things that, I'm saying, that got this leaven in it, kind of get it out of there. Now, why did the Lord say do that? Right? Out of your house, because your house is really your body, right? Your house is really your body. This lamb that you eat is really dealing with Yahweh Shai. The wine that you drink is the blood of Yahweh Shai. The bitter herbs that you eat is symbolic for the hard bondage in Egypt. And even the unleavened bread, right? Because your body is your house. Let me get that in 2 Corinthians 5 and 1, right? And you have to remove leaven from your house, meaning sin, wickedness. All right, this is what it teaches you. As you're removing leaven from your physical house, you should be examining yourself and kind of, making sure that you're removing wickedness from your house, your spiritual house. When you're eating them bitter herbs, you reminding yourself of the days of old, the vengeance that the Most High exacted upon your enemies, being in captivity. It should humble you when you eat the bitter herbs. When you drinking of the wine, you're thinking about what Yahweh Shai went through, his life and the miracles and the sufferings he went through and the crucifixion, and why you in this truth and the blood that sanctifies you from your sins. When you're eating of the lamb, that's the body of Yahweh Shai, or him being that lamb. So when you're eating that Passover, stop eating it like it's like you at Fridays, man. Oh, what's the appetizers? Can I get another piece of lamb?
Pass the ketchup.
Yeah, you putting damn ketchup all on the lamb. Crystal hot sauce on your bitter herbs. You know, you took your damn lamb, peeled it off by hand, got 2 pieces of unleavened bread, and made a damn sandwich. Put the little bitter herbs on there.
Put a pickle on it.
Yeah, and you got a damn pickle out your pocket. Put it in there, and then you dipped it in the wine like that damn brown sauce, man. You dip your sub in, and then you eating it. You didn't went off, man. You drinking wine to get drunk at Passover. What wine is this? Right? You taking shots in the bathroom because you want to get lit. At the you ducking off and you got a bottle of hen dog and some Pat Ron, some Patron on you, and you sitting there you done turn to a nigga on the Passover. You know? That is going off. So you got to kind of know what you're getting yourself. Yeah, I'm not full yet. You mad that everybody still eating, but you want to turn up. You bought a damn what is that? A Beats pill?
Speaker box.
Yeah, speaker box, a Beats pill.
Yep.
So you can play R. Kelly, right? Then you got, showed up with the best garment. Ain't nothing wrong with having a nice garment. But you got brothers that go to Passover, it's all about the garment. It's not all about the garment. You walking in, you came in fashionably late to show your garment off. So brothers can say, what kind of garment is that? You don't know no breakdowns. You don't know no precepts. You know what the Passover is about. You just there because somebody invited you. You got Keisha there, right? You got damn Leroy. You invited damn your next door neighbor who smoked them chain cigarettes on the balcony. Yeah, I invited damn Tony. Tony in there. Smell good in here, but y'all got. Tony shouldn't be there. You got it, yard down. It's madness.
So it was this Israelite group. Can't remember. They had strobe lights. I think that's over.
They had what?
Like the lights, strobe lights that changed colors, and it was spinning. It was a little ball and it was in circles.
That damn disco ball.
Big alley of red carpet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's madness.
Yeah.
Right? See that? So you want to make sure you kind of know what you're getting yourself involved with, right? So I wanted to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, right? Because again, you remove that leaven out of your house because your house parabolically is your body, your system, your abode, all right? 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. So your earthly house is this corruptible body that you have with your bones and you feel pain in your skin and your flesh. That's corruptible. This is earthly, right? When this earthly body is dissolved, the Lord says you have a building of the Most High, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. So here's your house right now. Now I want to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, right? And I'm going to start at 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and 1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. So Paul got it addressed in Corinth that this brother, he was popping his own mother. He said that even the other Gentiles don't get so raw and wicked like that. You got a man in the church of Corinth who's dealing with his mother on that level. Wickedness, man. This is a Jake, right? It's not an Edomite either. This is a Jake. Believe it.
That's
right.
That stepmom spirit.
Yeah, there you go. Right now, this could be a stepmom. It's not too, it's not really detailed. This could be a stepmom. This can be his biological mother. Right? We really don't know, but we do know that he's dealing with his mother. And there's, and they get that in Greece. There's a mental, what is that? Greek mythology when his brother wanted to have his mother, his Edomite. You know what I'm talking about, Yardan?
I feel like I do. I know what you're talking about.
Like an odious complex. Brothers know what it is, right? If a brother posts it on a comment board, you know what it is. It's like an odious or Oedipus complex. And that goes back to what they was doing in Greece. They had that complex where look, hey, look, you know, I like my mom.
It's called the Salaki. It's called the. Can you hear me?
Yeah, come.
It's called the Oedipus complex. It's a Freudian term that was named after a man that unknowingly killed his father and slept with his mother.
See that?
Freud said that a boy develops an unconscious infatuation towards his mother and simultaneously fears his father to be a rival. And that's confusion. That's madness. His mind is warped.
You said his father became his rival.
Yeah.
Hey, R. Kelly, man, you know, R. Kelly, he made a video where he said, you know, his mother used to buy this coffee. Now you can check the video out. You can say I'm lying. I don't believe it. You can look it up. You saw that, Yardan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the video where his mother would have like a cup, right? She'd get a cup of coffee, maybe from McDonald's or, you know, whatever, the Dunkin' Donuts, and she'll wear her lipstick. You know, she'll have her lipstick on, and then she'll kind of drink out the cup. And she'll have her little lipstick. You know, sometimes they may have her little lipstick stain right there in the cup. Now, R. Kelly in the passenger seat. He might be in the back seat, but he kind of lusting after that cup now. So he'll kind of pick that cup up and figure out where his mother's lipstick lips were, and he'll just hold it. You know, when his mother leaves, she may go out and pump gas or, you know, run into the store. She might have forgot something. So he'll kind of pick that cup up and kind of put his lips right there. All right? That's wickedness, man. You know? So let me go back to so brothers put it the Oedipus complex, right, or Oedipus complex. This was going on in ancient Greece in 1 Corinthians chapter 5. So let's go back to that 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and 1. And this is going to deal with your question, brother. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. See that? And ye are puffed up, and have not rather mourned that he that had done this deed might be taken away from among you. Right? They was kind of bigging him up. You know how Jake is. Jake wicked, man. Oh, you did that? How was it? How'd you do that? They was kind of puffing it up. When Paul said, y'all should have been checking this dude. And Jake do that wickedness. You got one Jake, he'll do something wicked. You seen Paid in Full. You had damn Rico showing them the video of him dealing with harlots, and Jake was in there puffing them up. Some of you did the Dougie, you know, you should have did this, and they was all watching it, and they was kind of glorifying it. When really they should have got checked and said, look, that's wicked. That's you making a whore out of your own woman. So this is what they was doing in Corinth, right? Verse 3, for I verily as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already as though I were present concerning him that has so done his deed. So Paul said, I don't have to be there to tell you how to handle the situation. Verse 4, and the name of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, when they are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to deliver such an one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord Yahweh Shah. Meaning kick him out the church. Excommunicate this guy from the congregation. And if you get kicked out your congregation, hey, Satan is going to work on you because you don't have that spirit around you anymore. Now you got Satan kind of working on your mind. Verse 8. You had some Yardan?
No, I was going to say you're going to work in your mind.
That's right. That's right. Verse 6. Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? So that guy committing that fornication, they may have thought it was a small matter. But that spirit of lust that was on him, it could have hopped on the next man. Then hop on the next man. Then the next man. Spreading like cancer. You have to remove cancer to prevent it from spreading to the rest of the body. If you let that cancer kind of grow and do its thing, it will take over the whole body. Like gangrene. Gangrene is started at the toes and spread to your shoulders. So you have to remove certain members of your body. You may have to have things amputated or things like that. You have to remove these things from the body, and the body will heal. If you don't remove it from the body's going to wax worse and worse. So therefore, that leaven is that yeast, that spiritual yeast that causes sin to rise, that causes demons to flourish. It may be an individual, it may be a spirit. You got to remove that leaven from your body. The Lord said, cut off that right hand, pluck out your right eye. It's all saying the same thing, right? This is why we remove and we go through great detail to make sure we have everything with leaven in it out of our house. We double checking because we like you want to check your spirit. You know, it reads 1 Corinthians 5:7. Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. So you want to purge out old leaven. If you got a brother in the congregation who's constantly willfully going off, get rid of that guy. They do that in corporations every day. Everybody knows that. If you got a guy who's messing up the report, who's spilling stuff on all the technology, he get locked out, or you got to get rid of this guy. He's going to make the company wax worse and worse. You know? Verse 8. Therefore, let us keep the feast. So Paul is saying you got to keep the Passover. You Christians, right, who don't keep it. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. You see that? So that leaven represents malice and wickedness that you would have removed from your body through fasting, prayer, and self-examination. You got something else, Yaradan? All right, moving on. You got this one. Oh, it's like we missed this one. Young, Nade 23. Can you explain why wisdom is preferred to as a she? And is wisdom a female spirit that was there since the beginning with the Most High? All right.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a female spirit, but I'll bring out Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 31, where it says this: and yea, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord God. Right? So the flock of the Lord's pasture are men, right? So the Most High gave us certain directions on how to lead the pasture, how to lead the flock. Did not Peter say, it's lucky, let me get it.
I got
it's 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 2. Feed the flock of God, which is among you, right? As the leaders of the pasture, we got to feed the flock. How do we feed them? We got to feed them with milk, honey, bread, and meat, right? Using wisdom discernment. Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre's sake, but of a ready mind. The reason why I bring this out, because we get that understanding and wisdom from the Heavenly Father, and it's presented to us as a I don't want to use the word female, but in a feminine type of understanding, right? Because that's the best way Jake can kind of get things. You know, it's one of the best ways for Jake to get things. And a lot of metaphors and parables, you know, you might want to bring in a woman in there, so the audience can kind of really listen and take heed. And one more thing, if you personify wisdom as a woman, Jake, they get down with it. You know, it's easy for them to comprehend. You got it.
Right. You know, let me back what Yaradan is saying. You know, dealing with women being given that feminine vibration, for lack of better terms, you know, wisdom serves as a man's mother, right? And wisdom can also serve the purpose of a man's wife. So, and we're going to go through them precepts. So wisdom has that nurturing spirit, right? To build you up when you're born again. When you're born again as a newborn babe, you have to have a mother. Everybody has a mother that's born again, right? That's in the, let me get that. That's Song of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. So you're born again through wisdom. That's how you're born and conceived, at a home birth in your mother's house. And she's going to guide you and give you milk and nurture you like a mother does. So it only makes sense for the Most High to make this woman be a mother-like, or make wisdom be with a mother-like nature. And in one context, we'll show you what's, used as a wife. Well, you got to be ravished always with her love. Let me get that real quick in Song of Solomon. Let me back what Yardan is going into. All right, this is the book of Song of Solomon, right? And know the Most High's wife is not wisdom. Wisdom is not sitting on the what is it? The other side of the you got the Most High, you got Yahweh Shah, you got wisdom sitting right there. It don't work like that. That's God's wife. You got to stop that, man. The Most High don't have a wife. He don't need a wife. He the Lord. He the King. He's not a man. Most High don't have the desires of man. He's the Most High. But let me get this in Song of Solomon, chapter 3, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Song of Solomon, chapter 3 and 4. So this brother was looking for the truth. When you read this chapter, he talked to the Watchmen, which were the prophets. The prophets broke the truth down to him, which is that knowledge. Now in verse 4, it says, "It was but a little that I passed from them, but I found him whom my soul loveth," which is this truth. "I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me." So we're conceived again in our mother's house. Our mother is wisdom, right? Here's your mother's house. You're conceived and born again in these different chambers. And you got certain brothers that you were born in the book of Deuteronomy, right? On the bed of chapter 28. Brothers was born in the book of Revelation, the first chapter. And that was another bedroom, right? Other brothers was born in the living room of Jeremiah, the 29th chapter. So these are the different rooms that you're born in when your mother gives birth to you when you're born again. That's what it means, into the chambers of her that conceived me. So now you're in your mother's house. Now, what did the Lord say about wisdom? This is Sirach chapter 24, right? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 24 and verse 1. Then I'm going to jump around. "Wisdom shall praise herself and shall glory in the midst of her people," right? Verse 17, Sirach 24 and 17. "As the vine brought I forth pleasant savor, and my flowers are the fruit of honor and riches. I am the mother of fair love and fear and knowledge and holy hope. I therefore, being eternal, am given to all my children which are named of him." See how wisdom is your mother. She's the mother of fair love. It says in knowledge and holy hope, because she's going to give you milk to sustain you and help you grow in this knowledge as a baby that was born in home. And that happens all the time. A woman may have a birth at home. She got to milk that not milk the baby. That would be awful. She gotta breastfeed that baby. So when you're born again in this truth, you're being breastfed by wisdom. And that's why when you first come in this thing, you always want more knowledge. You always want more understanding, because babies, they always want more milk. They don't just get milk one time and that's it. They crying, they wilding out. They gotta have that milk. When a mother leave the room, they crying. When the mother not around them, all hell breaking loose because they need that milk. That's you when you first come into this truth. I gotta watch this video, and I gotta watch this video. I'm gonna lock myself in the room, and I gotta check this out because you craving that milk. You got that milk fever, right? So this again, why wisdom is referred to as a woman in the sense. Now another precept. I want to go to Song of Solomon, the 8th chapter. Right? Let's go to Song of Solomon, chapter 8, and I'm gonna read verse 1. Right? Song of Solomon, chapter 8 and 1. It reads, "Oh, that thou wert as my brother, that sucked the breast of my mother. When I shall find thee without, I will kiss thee. Yea, I shall not be despised." So you want your people of the world to be like your brother in this truth. And you want them to come and suck your mother's breast. I mean, you want them to be born again and learn the foundational knowledge of being in this truth. Their nationality, laws, statutes, commandments, repentance. You want them to suck of your mother's breast. Your mother's breast is right here in this book, right? So again, wisdom has that nurturing guidance for you. You understand? when you fall short, and it's true, she there to pick you up. You get in the milk, you get in the foundation. Now, again, wisdom is always, I mean, it's also referred to again as a woman, right? Being your wife, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 5. That's why really the scriptures are really for men. Not saying women can't read the Bible, but to break it down, like Yaradan went into Ezekiel 34 and 31, it's for the men to break it down, because the men can understand the relationship and the dynamics between a husband and a wife, him being a man, and how wisdom is referred to as a woman, right? Only he can really know that, know them, what's the word I'm looking for? Those little, you said what?
Idiosyncrasies.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. He can only know those things, man, because he deal with women. He's the one that finds women attractive. He's the one that knows, knows the mind of the woman. Now, if you're a woman and you're reading this, you're gonna be able to understand it. We're not saying you're not, but not like the men. That's not knocking the woman, but this is just how the Lord had it set up. This is why wisdom is not referred to as your brother from down the street. Referred to as a woman, right? It's the book of Proverbs. And that's another good word, the nuances, right? That's the other word I was looking for. It's the water for that. This Proverbs chapter 5 and 18. It reads, "Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth." And that's speaking about wisdom. "Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe, and let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love." So you got to be always dealing with this woman. You got to let wisdom breast satisfy you, and you got to put it down on wisdom, meaning ravished with her love, meaning you always in the word. You flipping through the pages, your pages ripped up, and you doing your thing, man, right? Your Bible might be falling apart, right? You see that? Your Bible might be falling apart because you kind of doing your thing with wisdom, man. Again, and you can't be, I'm gonna just be real, we all grown. You can't be a minute man with wisdom. We brought that out before. You gotta put it down on wisdom, man, and be in this.
You gotta make.
Oh, go ahead.
So like, go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta be in this thing for hours, man. You gotta let wisdom know that, look, you here to stay. I had to bring it. You gotta break it down like that, man.
You gotta make the room stink with wisdom.
That's right. That's right. Wow, you see that? Right? You see that? So you gotta put it down, man. Right? You gotta do what you gotta do. The Lord said, let her be as a loving hind and pleasant roe, and be thou ravished always with her love. Right? So that's why wisdom is referred to as a woman. All right. So this was the question that he asked again. Right? You see that? Can you explain why wisdom is referred to as a she, and is wisdom a female spirit that was there since the beginning of the Most High? And it was there since the beginning of the Most High. Let me get that part. It's Sirach chapter 24. Right? Sirach chapter 24 and verse 9. "He created me from the beginning, before the world, and I shall never fail." So wisdom was created in the beginning. All right. Let's move on to the next question. All right, you got this one. Can brothers hear me? Hear me, y'all?
Kind.
On mute.
So like, yeah, I was gonna say.
You can hear me?
Don't kill. Yeah, you going in and out a little.
Oh.
This is
Well, you got it. You got this question.
Don't kill the heathen. It says in Exodus 20 and 13, don't kill. Thou shalt not kill. Right? On a deeper level, we get a little more deeper. It's going into murder, but still, we read earlier in Romans 15, it's like at 12 and 18, live peaceably. It's like if it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. Right? This is Sirach chapter 37, verse 27. It reads this. We'll select it 27. 27 and 30, it says, malice and wrath, even these are an abomination, and the sinful man shall have them both. So a sinful man is always going to want to kill people, right? Now, look, there's nothing wrong with, meditating upon terrors for the heathen, things like that, but don't go out your way and do it. Here's another precept in Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 7, where it says, I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roads, and by the hinds of the field, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please. In other words, don't put in your own hands to exact vengeance, and kill these heathen. The Lord got to do it. The voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping upon mountains, skipping upon hills, going into the Lord, coming back and doing all of that. This is Psalms 94 and 1. It reads this. Psalm chapter 94, verse 1. O Lord, to whom God, it's like O Lord God, to whom vengeance belongeth. O God, to whom vengeance belongeth, shew thyself. Right now, you can pray to the Heavenly Father. Lord, can you hurry up? Make haste. Right, Heavenly Father, make haste to destroy these heathen. We can't put it in our own hands to take them out, because you got to remember, you're here for a reason. You broke the commandments. You got to, serve your captivity. Don't try to do a prison break. So we got to wait patiently upon the Lord. It's another one real quick in Psalm chapter 120, verse 1. In my distress I cried unto the Lord, and he heard me. Deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue. Right, so again, the Heavenly Father has to do that. It's Psalms 55, and let me see what this said, 22. And the main reason you might want to kill a heathen, or I don't know your thoughts, but Jake, when they ask that, it's because they got a lot of anger in their heart, right? They want to hurry up and do something. They being afflicted at work, having a bad day. It says Psalms 55 and 22, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So you got to be patient in this thing. That's Nobody right. likes the heathen. And if you do, you'll be a super coon, right? But we just got to be patient and wait.
Con, I got a precept on that. It's Proverbs chapter 20 and 22. It reads, say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Lord, and he shall save thee. So that's plain. Don't be like the brother. I don't took down 2 Moabites today. No, brother, wait on the Lord. You're going to be in jail, brother, and the Lord not going to deliver you. All right. You keep asking about Job chapter 5 and 23. We answered that already. All right. We already dealt with that. You may have to rewind it if you missed us breaking it down. All right. Next question. All right. JB Raw. Would a brown-skinned Spaniard, Portuguese, be considered an Israelite? Got this girl trying to figure out her granddad's lineage. Well, it's not. Well, look, if you come from so-called Black, Hispanic, or Negro, Slovakia, what I'm trying to say, Negro or Indian descent, Slovakia, Negro and or Indian descent, then on your father's side, that would make you an Israelite, right? A brown-skinned Spaniard, Portuguese, that's the spirit got to bear witness. That's why Romans chapter 8 and 16 says the spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Because when it comes to all of that, the spirit got to bear witness. You may not be able to trace all your genealogy and your family's lineage, like we were able to back in the ancient times, when Ezra can trace his lineage back to Aaron, man. Yahweh Shai can trace his lineage all the way back to who? To Adam. That's wild, man. Man can't do that now. You can trace your lineage back to the chosen Adam. See that? So, the spirit beareth witness. All right. Let's see what else we got. Question from Amalion. And why did Paul lie in Acts 9 versus Acts 22 and 9? Let's deal with it. Right? Acts 9 and 7. Right? These are him. Acts 22 is him making reference to the account. So Acts 9 and 7. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing the voice but seeing no man. And Acts 22 and 9. Acts 22 and 9. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. Let me read both again. I'm gonna just pull it up right here so I can look at it. So Acts 9 and 7. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice but seeing no man. And Acts 22 and 9. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice. Well, you got to remember in Acts 9, Acts 22, Paul is giving a personal account of what he's saying. In Acts 9, Luke is giving the account of what Paul experienced. All right. That's how you understand. That's how there's a little bit of discrepancy. Right. Acts 9 is really in third person when you see that. And Saul rose from the earth and he was 3 days without sight. That's like a third person thing. And Acts 22 is a first person account. So you want to be able to understand that. Remember, Acts is written by Luke. That's him, what the Spirit showed him, the account of what happened in Acts 9. And Acts 22 is what Paul's personal account through the Spirit is revealing. So he's not lying. All right. You got something on that, Yardan? All right. Now, again, from Cynthia Cormier, Silaki, if we mispronouncing that. Can you explain Ezekiel chapter 28, 14 through 15? Right? You want to do that one, Yardan? You want to get that one? If not, I could do it.
Throwback. I'm sort of 28 and 2. Salakia. Let me use my phone. This is Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 2. And it reads this: Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God. Thou, Salakia, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, going to Esau, so-called white man. Right? We know this is going into him. So what? Let's get a precept to further explain. This is Thessalonians, and it just slipped my mind. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.
Which one are you looking for? 2 Thessalonians 2?
Yeah, I was reading it. My thing be going in and out.
Okay.
This Second Thessalonians, I'm gonna read it again. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It's like I said, yeah, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Right? We read that to explain Ezekiel 28 and 2. I'm going to read it again. Son of man, saying to the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Right? Esau is that whore that sits in the midst of the seas, which are the nations. Yet thou art a man, and not God. Thou, it's like though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Right? So, although Esau may try to make himself to be the Most High, we know at the end of the day he's not. Right? So we kind of get the context what's going on. Let's jump down on to verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have said thee, so thou wast upon the holy mountain of God, thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Let me get out a precept in Psalms. Bear with me. It's Psalms chapter 13. It's like, yeah. 13 and bear with me. What's the is it Proverbs 13 and 11? With the sword of wickedness?
That's Psalm chapter
Or
17.
17
And
and 13?
Con.
The water.
Okay.
It's Psalm 17 and 13. It speaks about disappoint the sword. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right. Let's go to Genesis real quick, because that's what he's making reference to. It's Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. And that's Esau, right? He does everything in his power to make sure that we do not know that we're Israelites. All right, let me go back to Ezekiel. Where is it? This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28. And 14. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as a profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Going to have the Most High going to destroy Esau, who is that sword that keeps us away from the tree of life, right? Even from the Bible. You got anything to add?
No, that's in Ezekiel 28, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, right? That's it's going to the king of Tyrus, the spirit that's inside the so-called white man now. When it says that covereth, you link that up with Job 9 and 24. The earth is given to the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Right? Covered us with darkness, changed our images of the icons. Isaiah 25 and 7, it says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of covering, cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Paraphrasing. So Esau's job is to cover what? Cover up the truth. Cover things in darkness. All right. And the Lord made him that way. When it says, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. This shows you that the Most High has dominion over the left-hand side. The Lord said, I set you so. I have appointed you to cover the earth in darkness. You didn't rebel against me. You didn't do your own thing. You didn't leave the third heaven. I have made you to be who you are. The Lord created Esau. Why is Esau homosexual? Why does Esau can't dance? Why they don't have no rhythm? Why do they rape, rob, and murder? Well, the Lord did that. Why? to temporarily keep the Israelites' men's mind away from the tree of life. Right? Thou wast up upon the holy mountain of the Most High. Thou wast walk up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Going back to Genesis, right? When that same spirit that's in Esau now was then inside of the serpent, right? Thou was perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created till iniquity was found in thee. Meaning when the Most High made him transgress and do what? Cause a man to fall, right? But with that, we're going to close up, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Kwamalak Yahushai. Yardan, you got any closing precepts? And I got I'm going to go to Revelation 22 and 12, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 12. And it reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So you got to be on fire. You should be studying. You should be praying. You should be fasting. You should be diligent, because you never know when all hell is going to break loose, man. A lot of people are waiting to see what Biden's going to do. Things may happen fast. Things can happen overnight, man. You want to make sure that you're on one accord with this truth and that you are going to go out on fire. All right. So we have to examine ourselves and make sure we're pleasing the Heavenly Father in the name of His Son in the last days, man. Putting off the old man, mortifying our members, and making sure that our primary focus is thus saith the Lord. All right. Now, since we've went a little bit longer than usual, we are still going to do the call where we take questions. If we didn't get to your question, you can call in to the number that you'll see on the live, and we'll do about an additional 45 minutes of taking extra questions that we wasn't able to cover on the live. That, Brother Naquan,
Brother Yardan.
Again, you'll see this number on the screen to call in. It's 213-613 or 603-9096. Again, that PIN number is 213-603-9096. Right? You should see it right there. 213. You'll call into that number, 603-9096. The PIN number is 94809. We'll do about 45 minutes of additional questions. Kwam Yasha Allah. Shalom.